Hello, fellow followers, and welcome back to FanZcene. This is the Physical Media Show, and with me tonight is Runner and Tom, as always. And welcome, guys. Hail to the chat. I'm going to say hello to the chat real quick, and then we'll start talking. I want to say hail to Random Brad Creator, Brian Barth, Heather Preston, Film Watcher. He said he's been subbed to you, Random Brad has. Brian Barth, Heather Preston, Film Watcher, hello, Tim Hayes, and I'm loving seeing the membership badges on you there, guys. By the way, if you want to join FanZcene Vids membership, go ahead, click on it. I haven't put out too much stuff for the members just yet, and I do apologize for that, guys, but I'm going to work on some stuff this weekend for you guys to get it out exclusively for you guys, so be prepared. And Dan Blackroyd, he says, greetings. I thought I clicked. There you go. And deleted scenes. He says, "Hell to everyone. It's been a good news, bad news kind of day. Maybe someday I'll tell you about it." Well, I hope we give you some enjoyment tonight to offset the bad news with the show we have for you guys. So hopefully everything turns out for you, buddy. And let's see who else we got here. We got Tyrell72. Welcome. Question for the panel and chat: did you have the chicken or the fish? I had the chicken.
The fuck does it? I'm confused.
It's a reference. You wouldn't get it.
I obviously that's what I assumed. I'm like, why?
Well, hello to the chat and everybody watching at home. Make sure you hit that like, share out the link, and I hope you have a good time tonight enjoying some physical media. We got some good ones for you. Runner, how's it been lately?
It's all right. I got back in town around a few days ago. Started working again. I got school next week. So yeah, it's
Nice.
It's all right. It's been all right.
Okay. Yeah. Good for you.
Went on a long run too, so that's good.
Also, to the people that are members in the chat, there's a special emoji you guys have. I guarantee you're going to use it here in a little bit, so don't disappoint me. I want you guys to use it when it comes time.
I have a good feeling what that is.
Tom, how you been, man? I'm sorry I had to duck out on you earlier on the 4K
no, it's
for
fine.
you.
I know how it is, kids and stuff. Man.
Oh, man, they were starting to get freaking crazy. When they start screaming at the top of their lungs, you're like, yeah, I gotta get them.
Man, I remember those days.
You still do that, man.
No, I don't.
Anyways. Oh, look at this.
I knew it. No, but seriously, Greg.
Your best buy. Fuck your best buy. Fuck your best buy. Fuck your best buy. Fuck your best buy.
What?
I made that for you.
I'm gonna have to. I totally still need to clip that, or have you redo
I'll send
that.
it to you.
So I can get this made for.
No, that's a clip. That's an actual clip.
No, but
oh, it is. That's
Fuck your best buy. Fuck your best buy. Fuck your best buy. Fuck your best buy. Fuck your best buy.
The most effort said in one stream in one night.
No, but
Yes.
Greg, you gotta make a tier, like a membership tier that says like "fuck Runners Best Buy" or something. Like that.
Right now, I got one tier because I'm trying it out to see how it works.
I know you have one tier. I'm just saying, like in the future, like
In the future, if it grows, I will.
Yeah. I'm saying if it grows, if the channel's successful, like do that. Like that'd be even more funny.
You just had to start this. Hey, that's what I do. But yes, if you guys didn't, let's see what Brian Barth has. He always asks some good questions real quick before we get into some stuff. Have you seen the documentary OJ Made in America, one of the best films of 2010s? I don't think I've seen that one. Have you, Tom? No, yeah, I haven't seen it.
Is it about OJ Simpson or the drink?
It's orange juice made in Florida. No, I've not seen it. Yes. But if you guys missed 4K for you, we went over some new releases coming. I did a video. I haven't done a coming soon to Blu-ray DVD for Blu-ray 4K video this week, but we got Reservoir Dogs coming in 4K. Earth Girls.
Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, I know I get mush mouth sometimes.
Me too. It's fine.
Earth Girls are easy on Blu-ray Vestron. We're getting Tom's favorite 48 Hours on 4K, The Changeling on 4K, Dracula vs. Frankenstein on, I believe that was Blu-ray, and it comes with a bonus movie on that. That's from Severin. I don't want to go over everything we went over earlier, but I was trying to give like the big ones here. What else was there, Tom? What did I miss?
Kill Bill is being rumored now.
Yes, Kill Bill, the whole affair.
Yeah. Home Alone 2. One we forgot to mention earlier was Dress to Kill. But I think we mentioned it last time.
From Kino, Dress to Kill is coming.
There was some Criterion news that came out.
Yeah, Malcolm X was the big one on that one.
Yeah.
4K.
Oh, yeah. There's the new E.T., but I think it's just a re-release because it's already been on 4K for a while.
I was going to say, yeah, it's been on 4K. I think
I'm pretty sure it's the same 4K. It's just basically like it's giving like the lunchbox, the thermos, or steelbook or whatever. That's really just cool collectible edition.
Yeah, that's just like one like new collectible thing that they got going on. But you can just get like I think like you can get like the standard like 4K box set. It's just gonna have a different, yeah,
it's just a different
artwork.
Packaging.
Yeah, different packaging. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I might get that because I didn't get the first run for E.T.
Thinking of the Corman film Strip to Kill. I love Roger Corman. Good stuff. But also I brought up earlier, I brought up the Tarantino podcast. If anybody didn't know about that, Tarantino is doing a new podcast, and I wanted to read the description for you guys that I meant to bring up earlier when we were doing 4K for you. It's called, for anybody who wants to listen to this podcast, because it sounds really cool. I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm definitely putting this on my podcasting here. It's called The Video Archives with Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avery. And it says, Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avery invite you to become a customer at Video Archives, the store that started it all. Joined by their announcer, Gayla Avery, they'll travel back in time to revisit old classics and discover new favorites pulled from the actual VHS tapes that Quentin and Roger used to recommend to customers at the original Video Archive store in Manhattan Beach. From controversial James Bond films to surprising exploitation flicks, the duo will expose you to movies you didn't know you'd love, give awards to their favorites, and of course rate the quality of the video transfer. So if you guys are looking into something like we do, but on a grander scale, I guess, with Tarantino, there you go. It just sounded really cool. I'm definitely going to have to start listening to that.
Dude, I still question to this day, like, why Pulp Fiction is not on 4K yet.
I don't know, but like we mentioned earlier, I think it's slowly starting to trickle down into his catalog there.
No, like that is a must-need transfer.
Mm-hmm. I've been asked this question a bunch of times. Do you think Reservoir Dogs is Tarantino's best film?
It's one of his best.
I would have argued that or Pulp Fiction, but like I said, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood keeps growing on me more and more. It
really does, honestly.
But yeah, I mean, like Jackie Brown, even though that he didn't really, that's based off somebody else's story. But Jackie Brown, Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they're just all great films.
Yeah,
the man rarely misses. So,
this is off topic, but I did watch Bullet Train yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good popcorn flick.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I haven't seen it. So
yeah, Brad Pitt kicks ass.
Oh, cool. So do you guys want to go ahead and start with all three of us what we got, since we're all sort of going to have this first pick here of the night for all the same pretty much, except Tom's going to have a little more than us.
Yeah, but I'm going to have a teeny bit more than Greg too.
Not much really.
Nah, it is.
Nah, not really.
It's better than the slipcover.
Nah. Hank VP, what's up? So Runner, I'll pop you up first, and you just show off your thing, and members get your emojis ready. What?
What?
Show your thing.
Show your thing. Don't worry, we won't get flagged because it's not going to be hard. It's going to be hard to see. So.
Ooh.
That's good. So yeah, all of us, we all got this. I just got this from Best Buy. Yeah, my Best Buy that Greg hates so much.
Yeah.
Fuck your Best Buy. Fuck your Best Buy. Fuck your Best Buy. Fuck your Best Buy. Fuck your Best Buy.
I love it every time I hear it.
I knew that was coming. That's why I didn't talk for 2 seconds. All right. So yeah, it's Child's Play. It's the steel book.
Yeah, Runner had to be different and get a steel book.
Hey, it was the same price as the fucking slipcover one, so I had to get the steel book because it's got the original poster. Like, who doesn't like that? Look at that.
I do like the back of that. What's the inside look like?
He literally never says that.
I know he never. That's what
I thought he
everybody
did.
was right because he never says that. But now
You're
ask you what
my
the
friend
inside
to the
looks like,
end.
man. Heidi ho, ha ha ha.
I thought
He
he
still
did
didn't.
say.
Hear.
I thought
What
he
does
did
the
say I love
inside of
you.
the steel book looks like, man?
Oh, the steel book?
The inside of it.
Oh, the inside. It's not much.
Well, the disc are covering the pictures.
I love you. Ha ha ha.
I love you. Like, oh my god.
I seriously
love
did.
you.
For some fucking reason, I thought he said I love you, but that might have been. That doesn't even sound like Chucky.
That's because he was watching the remake with Mark Hamill.
Oh god, I almost watched that.
I'd never watched that.
I've seen it, but I almost watched it again. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Wait,
And then
what did you think of it, Tom?
Not as bad as you would think, but at the same time, there was enough new stuff in there that you're like, why didn't they just make this its own thing?
Yeah.
Because the biggest problem with the film is that it's trying to be Child's Play.
Not trying to be too different, but you know.
Yeah, like the problem with the movie is it stops to remind us that it's Child's Play to have a scene that we know from the original film. Every time it starts getting interesting, it's kind of
So it's Child's Play, but with Joker's voice.
He doesn't even do a voice like that. He talks like this most of the time. You know, the whole thing is he's not a real person or anything. It's just an AI gone nuts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
So there's some cool shit that the doll's able to do, but it's like, you know, if they just made this like Robbie the Robot kind of thing or something, or Buddy the Robot, you know, and he interacts with all your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth stuff at home and all, you know, made it its own thing, because that would be something that a kid would want, right? Problem with this is you look at the Buddy doll who looks like a bad ripoff of Chucky, and you're just like, what kid would want that?
Yeah, especially in today's day and age. Like
that's my point exactly. Like, they got a phone, they got all this. They don't fucking want. What the hell? What kid would buy that?
You're not wrong.
It's true.
So if they'd have made it like a cool looking robot or something, then a kid would actually, you know, interact with your phone and all your Bluetooth and all, you know, then a kid would be totally into it.
That would have worked much better.
So, yeah. And I actually have kind of a story idea that's similar to that kind of utilizes that whole idea much better. But yeah.
Like the time the first Child's Play like took place, it actually like worked. Like
it did. It works. And plus, Andy at that age in the movie, in the original,
he was like
he would
6,
want a
right?
doll like that. The kid, like I haven't watched it, but like what I've seen, like the kid looks like he's 12 or something.
Yeah, that's the other problem is I think he's meant to be like 6 or 7 in the movie, or 8 maybe or something, but he's played like about a 12-year-old or so. You can tell.
Yeah,
it's
so
like,
you can't buy it as like that.
And the mom is kind of meh compared to Catherine Hicks, and it's all kind of.
Well, I'll show mine real quick since Tom's probably got the bigger stuff. So,
Well, I got the same one you do, I believe.
You did. I thought you got the big box set of it all.
No, there's nothing different about it. All you do is you just get the fucking posters and
Yeah.
it wasn't like a box set.
And then I switched out the.
Yeah, so do I usually.
Yeah. So there was mine. If you didn't watch my video earlier, which to be honest, not a lot of people did, but I kind of figured out because everybody's sort of making that video. But I wanted to make my own.
Mine is exactly the same. In fact, I've got the 4K here.
Oh, let me put it up.
Plus the original Blu-ray release from, what was it, 2 years ago or whatever,
Yeah.
3 years ago. And they did add some new special features to it, so we'll get in. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but this is the old set I used to have. Plus I used to have, Child's Play I've bought. I had the old, they used to have a pan and scan disc originally. Then they did the anniversary edition, like Chucky's birthday edition or some shit like that it was called, on DVD. Yeah. And then they transferred that over to Blu-ray. So I've had all those versions, and then I got this because this was the only way at that time you could get 2, 3, Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky.
Right.
And it also came with, at that time, Curse of Chucky, which was brand new. So that was kind of a deal. But no, like the look of the film, even though this scan here is the same 4K scan, it still looks, this new 4K version looks so much better even than that version. And that version was leaps and bounds above the old one. And all the old special features are carried over here, plus over an hour of new interviews, which is a nice welcome to the set. So, like, as far as the first film goes, grade A. I mean, there's not much more I could have expected out of this film as far as special features, considering all the classic stuff that's carried over, the new stuff, the Dolby Atmos upgrade. I mean,
it was great, man.
And I mean, you get some newer interviews. The only thing is the new interviews are nice, but you pretty much have almost everybody back now for the series. You would think Shout would have taken advantage of that and kind of did a new retrospective documentary on the entire series, or at least the first 3.
Speaking of, I didn't mean to stop you there because that was Brian Barth says, "Have you seen the TV series?" I have
it's not too bad.
Is Catherine Hicks in it?
No.
She's
the only one
who come back.
No, Catherine Hicks or Heigl haven't come back. Neither one.
Yeah.
I don't know what Catherine. I think Catherine Hicks won't come back now because she may have at one time because her husband still worked. It was up until Seed of Chucky when they decided, the Universal decided to go with a cheaper outlet, and Yeager didn't come back. So at that point on, I don't think they'll get her back because of that. But there was probably a point where they could have. No, I think that boat sailed now.
Actually, A Basket of Puppies, there is a commentary by Chucky.
Yeah, he does a couple of scenes, not the entire movie,
not the full commentary, but a couple scene commentaries with Chucky.
That's carried over from that birthday edition of the DVD I was talking about.
Yeah.
And that was because they had the cast together for a commentary, which, there's like 3 or 4 commentary tracks on here.
Which, I'm going to say, though, it was like I told you earlier, my nephew loved, like, he was blown away when I told him to come look at it because he's used to all the digital stuff. And he's like, I've always heard things on film look way better than the new stuff. And I was like, yeah, now you know. Because he doesn't really watch a whole lot of movies. He plays video games more than he does movies. So I was like, this is how it's supposed to look.
That's kind of how I was back then. I played more video games than I watched movies, but now I watch more movies than I play video.
Yeah.
And yes, Brad Dourif still voices Chucky in the series. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, he does.
Yeah, the only people who haven't returned have been what's his face? Pretty much anybody. The guy and the chick from Bride of Chucky, and
Chris Sarandon.
Chris Sarandon and Catherine Hicks have been the only other ones that haven't returned yet. But I still wouldn't count Chris Sarandon out either.
I would. You never know.
And we're supposed to be getting some new cameos for new additions to the second season here, so we'll see. I mean, it's not like stupendous, but it's picking up where Cult of Chucky left off. So if you're somebody who has not been a fan of where Cult of Chucky and Curse of Chucky went and Seed of Chucky and all that kind of stuff, you may not like the series. It is just an extension of that. It kind of melds the two together. But this second season now, we haven't got to Glenn and Glenda yet. They did have Tiffany in the last season. But Glenn and Glenda are coming back in the next season here. So
is it still going to be, what's his name from Lord of the Rings voicing?
I don't know. I think they just have, because remember they were transferred into kids at the end of the film. They have kids coming in playing the parts. So we'll see.
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't they?
Well, John Ritter was dead anyway, Brian. Not just I mean, the character was dead, so... Yeah, I mean, obviously, if the character's dead, they're not bringing him back, but yeah.
It looks familiar. But I dug it. I dug this first one, the transfer, and Runner, it was a first watch for Runner. So
yeah, what'd you think for a first watch? How's it hold up?
I enjoyed it a lot. The practical effects were probably my favorite part of the movie. Like, that was like very nice to see, and it looked realistic as fuck.
I know, like we talked about earlier, Tom, because Tom had, with the Gremlins and the 4K and all that. This looked really smooth and great. The puppetry, it looked like it blended in perfectly, just fine, man. It was great.
Yeah, the way like Chucky like moves and shit, it's like, holy shit.
Well, the reason I was worried about that is because when you go from the negative, because usually when they do these things and they have these kind of special effects with animatronics, they'll speed up the film so that the animatronics move smoother. And this is why I was worried, because they kind of did that with Gremlins. So, like, the movie comes from the negative until you get to a lot of the Gremlin parts. And then when they get to the Gremlin stuff where they sped shit up, you can tell it's like a second or third generation away from the negative. It's clearly obvious. So I was worried about that here, and I've been worried about when movies like Little Shop of Horrors and some of these other ones where I know. But see, I think those were actually shot at a lower frame rate and then sped up. And then when you play it back in 24 frames, which I think is what happened here. So I'm hoping, and fingers crossed, that was the same thing for Ninja Turtles, the movie, too, because I believe that was shot the same way. So they got smart to undercrank the frames, so then when you play it back at 24 frames, they'll shoot it at like 12 frames.
The first Ninja Turtles movie is also dying for a 4K.
Oh, tell me about it. And that was one that we just talked about earlier, where I'd heard for a while they weren't sure where the negative was or if they could locate it. If it was at Golden Harvest or wouldn't happen, because New Line, I guess their archive was not kept the best, and I've talked about that before with other projects they've had too.
That's why I think we've been not getting the 4K of Freddy for so long.
Well, yeah, that was another thing I was curious about, is if they even know where the negatives from the Nightmare on Elm Street movies are.
Exactly,
because they had some issues with Critters there for a little bit too. But they did find I think they had to find the negative for Critters 1 and 2, but still, anyway.
Yeah.
Point being,
they did do Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but we talked about that earlier too.
Some of the I've heard some good things about it, and then some.
It looks better than it probably ever did before, but there's some problems with it.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
But like I talked about earlier in my, if you haven't watched my review, watch it. But something I feel like that was lost in the other sequels is when you find out that Chucky's turning human in the body, the puppet really starts to change and it starts to become.
Yeah, they do a pretty good job of talking about that in the making of it, and it was something I never noticed until I saw the making of 2. I mean, it just gradually happens in the movie, but once you know it's there, then you start to notice it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because as a kid, well, I did kind of notice it when I was younger. I would notice that, but to me, I always thought it was, when Chucky's a doll, he looks like a doll, but when he becomes himself, he becomes himself. And I just thought it was kind of just a random movie thing that they didn't think about. Well, I didn't really realize as you watch the film, he progressively becomes more human. So like the doll goes from looking like a doll to gradually become, and they actually show where Kevin had like all the heads, where you see where he goes from looking like a cheerful little doll to the face starts getting more and more realistic and darker, and
and the hairline recedes and
the
stuff.
hairline recedes. He starts getting more realistic eyebrows and shit as it goes along. The freckles start going away. Gets a little bit more deeper eyes and black under the eyes. And the teeth become more real. Yep.
Yeah.
So so in the first film especially, you're right, they did that. Well, I mean, of course they had him continue that trait, but in the second and third film and beyond, they never had him.
Yeah, they never really went back to like that. Yeah. But that's what I really liked
Yeah.
about that first one, and I noticed it a lot more with this 4K transfer and stuff. Plus, it had been a couple years since I actually had seen the original movie, so noticing things like that was a lot cooler. And like you said, they have a good special feature about it, talking about it.
Yeah, there's some great stuff on here as far as like stuff that's been carried over from before and stuff we got from the last Blu-ray release and even the new stuff they added. So
Yeah,
but there's even like an hour of just like B-roll VHS behind the scenes footage of them all putting Chucky together and all the behind the scenes testings and stuff. It's some really neat stuff, fly on the wall type stuff. I really dig that kind of stuff. But no, like as far as the other films go, Part 2 looks amazing on Blu-ray, and that was just because of how it was shot. Because the first film was shot more like a kind of like a haunted house kind of movie, very dark.
Mm-hmm.
And they did it on purpose to kind of keep Chucky a little bit more in the dark. The second film, though, it's really harsh lighting with really, really deep shadows and a lot of blue lights and red lights and yellow lights and very hot primary colors. So it really pops in 4K. Like that second film really just leaps off the screen. Now, sadly, the special features, though, I can't boast as well about for second and third film. There is some. Good. Don't get me wrong. There's the basically it's just more of the same new interviews. And they're kind of scattered and they're not great. There's a commentary for both of the new films from the director, which is great because we actually lost John LaFia last year to suicide. So I'm assuming that this is just recorded recently before he died.
Yeah.
Because it's not on the original DVD or Blu-rays or DVDs. So it was kind of nice that they got that, because otherwise I think that's all they got with him. They have no other interviews or anything with him. But that's the downside of Child's Play 2 and 3 is they have none of the classic special features. They have no EPKs. Other than theatrical trailer, that's it. They have the deleted scenes that were on TV for 2 and 3, which is nice. But they're like VHS quality off of Sci-Fi TV and shit like that in USA. Like they actually have the Sci-Fi logo and shit on it. So I'm like, how can they not get a hold of these things, especially when they're going back to the original negatives? Because a lot of times it's where they turn around and find some of these scenes. Like, famously, like, they didn't know that they still had the uncut version of Psycho until they went to do the 4K version and then realized the negative had not been altered. It was just the prints that were altered. For those who don't know, there's like 2 scenes or 2 shots more or less in Psycho that were edited out. One during the shower sequence, and then a couple of extra stabbings of the cop on the stairs that were edited out after the film was done because they did it so they didn't get a X rating or whatever it was at the time. And they didn't know that those shots still existed. Well, they didn't realize when they got down to the negative. This means nobody's touched the negative since 1969 or whatever.
Which is crazy.
Right? So, and at that point, they're like, holy shit, we have the full uncut cut of Psycho here. Which I know it's not a big deal. It's only like a couple of shots,
it's like only like a minute extra of the film.
But people thought that was lost to history, right? Like, so that's what I'm saying is like when they go back to some of these, why are they not finding these deleted scenes and shit? Because they put these back in for these TV versions. You would think that they would even have just like a good version of the TV version set aside, right? Whatever they have are those extra scenes because you know they scanned them or used them for at least with Sony's ones they've been doing. They're actually giving us a broadcast version of it. You can tell it's from their actual vault. Yeah. Right. Where in this case, it's like, why didn't Universal just furnish them with the TV version? This makes no sense. Because I think they did for Halloween 2, so I don't know where this shit's at. Yeah. I mean, the quality of the scenes is okay. It's not horrid. I mean, I'm not going to bitch about it, but it's like, it would just kind of be nice to have them a little bit more prestigious and better quality.
Yeah, right? Kind of like, like fixed up and cleaned up a little bit just for like, posterity's sake or something.
Yeah, because especially the second film's deleted scenes, because that end is a completely different ending. For those who've never seen the TV version, Don Mancini was trying to get the same ending into that movie for years. The original film was supposed to end that way too, where blood gets into the vat and then we're led to believe, oh shit, we're going to get a shit ton of Chuckies.
Right.
And then he did the same thing. He tried to get it in at the end of part 2. And it got edited out, but it's in the TV version. And then they recreated again. Finally, he got it in the beginning of part 3. that scene carried its way all the way from the original ending of the first film. That was one of the few things I learned this time out that I didn't know before. So,
and he finally got all of his multiple Chuckies now. So
yeah, and that too. Yeah, that was the other thing he wanted to set up, was this idea that Chucky could infest more than one doll. But of course, back then the special effects to do that were impossible.
Right.
So they had to drop that idea too. But that was initially kind of the idea to lead into 2 or 3, was that we're going to have to deal with a bunch of Chuckies, not just one. But yeah,
it's interesting.
Well, and that goes off his whole concept is if you, I know you probably, I don't know if you watched any special features or not, Runner, but the whole voodoo thing was not a part of the original story. The original script was called Batteries Not Included.
Mm-hmm.
No, I did not watch the special features, but speaking of batteries,
and Chucky's original name was Buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the whole battery part where the mom finds out that the thing was like moving around without batteries. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was one of the scenes that kind of like that was where they got the name for the movie from originally, but instead of the name Chucky, he was named Buddy because they were blood buddies. So then when they found out Spielberg was already producing a movie called Batteries Not Included, they changed the name to Blood Buddies. Well, the whole idea was, and it was more from the corporate side of things, Andy's mom actually worked for the company that made Chucky. That was kind of the gimmick.
Yeah.
Because Don Man... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say Blood Buddies. I'm not going to lie, Blood Buddies sounds like a porno.
It does kind of sound weird. Well, so anyway, the short version, though, is because Don Mancini's dad used to work in advertising. He was a Madison Avenue guy. So, and he would think it was interesting because they would call, like, kids. They wouldn't call them kids. They would call them, what was it? Because they even used the term in the second or third film. Something trainees.
Yeah, I know, but I can't think of it either. Yeah, but I know.
Yeah, but this also came out during the whole cigarette thing and all that kind of shit. Consumer trainees. That's it. Consumer trainees.
Yeah.
So like this whole idea that kids were being treated like consumer trainees. So the whole idea of the Buddy doll was not only did you have to get the doll, you played with it, but if you played too rough, the skin would bust and you would bleed. He would bleed. So you'd have to buy Band-Aids and shit like that for the doll and all these other accessories that would go with the doll. So it was kind of this early idea of like, basically bilking kids out of money through various means of this doll. And and Andy in the original story decides he's going to make a pact with the doll. So he mixes their blood together, and the blood is what brings the doll to life. But instead of it being another person, it's actually Andy's id. So when Andy's asleep, it's the doll acting out his inhibitions. So he gets pissed off because the babysitter sends him to bed early. So when he goes to sleep, Buddy wakes up, goes kills the babysitter. Right? So then there's a scene in the original film that was much like the scene in the second movie with the teacher. The teacher gets mad at him, disciplines him. So then later on that night, when he goes to bed, Buddy wakes up, goes kills the teacher. And so like throughout the whole movie, the original story was you don't see Chucky or Buddy until the very, very, very end, because you're left to believe that this kid's been doing it the whole time. And some elements are still of that in the script, right?
Yeah, you can see that in the first.
So like the whole twist is you're supposed to believe that this kid's just gone insane and he's killing people. And then it comes to find out, no, it's the doll doing it, but it's the doll acting out his aggression kind of thing.
Right.
And it all has to do, it boils down to the mom has been ignoring him, and it's just like he has these problems and issues because of that, and it just manifested itself through this. And of course, Tom Holland, the guy who directed Fright Night, he come in and rewrote it, and he's like, this shit makes no fucking sense.
I can't believe, but he did keep some of that.
He's like I'm thinking voodoo instead.
It works. It sounded better.
It's weird, but it works better in a weird way.
It does.
And then, so there's always had that push and pull with Don Mancini and that whole voodoo thing. He has never liked it.
Yeah.
So he's always kind of found ways to either work with it or kind of just disregard it.
Yeah, like
it's usually one or the other.
And stuff.
Yeah, it's either one or the other. Either he just kind of disregards it, or it's he really leans into it, like with the cult of Chucky.
Yeah.
Because like with like Curse of Chucky, you wouldn't even they barely even mention. I don't even think voodoo's even mentioned in the whole thing.
No, I don't think that. No, not one time.
Like he's not trying to get out of the body or nothing. It's just it is what it is. You know, he's just out for his little revenge kick.
Well, speaking of which, real quick, I'll show you one of my other pics real quick since we're still on the topic of Chucky. I have the Curse of Chucky.
Yeah, that's in this set here too. I have the Cult of Chucky as well, but I have that.
Now, see, I didn't like the Cult of Chucky, but I actually liked the Curse of Chucky. So
I didn't mind Cult of Chucky, but I can understand people not liking it. Right?
It's not like I like hated it, but I didn't really. I was like, yeah. After I watched it, I was like, yeah. You know, I don't think I need to see it again.
It's one of those things where I personally admire. I admire that Mancini stuck with the franchise all these years. He stuck with most of the canon. He has not strayed, regardless of how ridiculous some of it may have gotten.
Mm-hmm.
I know Seed of Chucky and Cult of Chucky are not very popular films. But I still don't blame him for taking a chance. Because a lot of people still rip on Child's Play 3. And it's like, okay, well, what do you want then? Either it's going to be the same as the old.
Yeah, you got to grow somewhere.
Or it's going to be in this, you know. And that's where I think he's done a really good job with it, especially the Curse of Chucky, the one you just held up. Mm-hmm. And the new series of really doing, like, melding the two worlds. Right? Like, the series is not as maniacal as Cult of Chucky is.
Right.
Like, there is multiple Chuckies, but it's not as, like, nutty. Okay. But it also introduces a lot of new characters while also bringing back a lot of classic characters.
I have to try to check that out. I've been meaning to watch it.
And it actually does a fairly, as far as I'm concerned, fairly decent job of introducing a gay character without it feeling like it's pandering or woke. It's actually a natural part of the story. It plays into the story at times. In fact, you even have a great joke in, I think, the first episode where the one kid he's like talking to Chuck and he's like, oh, I thought you'd have a problem with me because I'm gay or whatever. He's like, are you kidding me? Because I got a kid who's trans or something like that. He's like, besides, I'm a murderer, not a monster. So it's like, even they're like kind of in on the joke. And, you know, and even Mancini has joked about how Chucky's kind of went gay since Seed of Chucky anyway.
Yeah, well, Mancini is gay. So
he is gay,
really,
yes.
Yeah, I've never really had a problem with that.
He was one of the premier openly gay producer, writer guys in Hollywood. Yeah, now a director. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's never hidden that fact.
Yeah, so. That's true.
So in that respect, to me, adding that level to it or having that be a part of the story is not new, right? It's always kind of, the psychosexual element has already been there since Bride of Chucky anyway, so however you want to look at it.
I like part 3. I didn't care for Seed of Chucky, but I actually think Seed of Chucky is better than Cult of Chucky. I'd have to say Cult of Chucky is my least favorite of the franchise.
Same here, probably. It's not like I don't agree with everybody, but I mean, I look at it like I've said, a Seed of Chucky, even though I know most people hate it, I don't hate it nearly as much as most people because to me, it feels like it's a Chucky movie directed by John Waters.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you like John Waters and get his sense of humor, then I think you can. And again, it's a matter of taste because some people are not going to get into John Waters.
I can handle John Waters here and there. So yeah. I'm not against him or anything like that. It's just like with Seed of Chucky and Cult of Chucky, I've seen him once and I'm like, that's all I need to see him. But it's not like I hate him. You know what I mean? It's not like I say, oh, man, these are the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. No, it's just like, I get it. I still prefer the first 3. And Bride of Chucky.
Yeah. And I mean, I would have been happy if they stopped there. I didn't expect Bride of Chucky to be any good. I was pleasantly surprised by that film when it came out.
Me too. I was.
And as far as Seed of Chucky goes, it wasn't as good as I was hoping it was going to be, but it also wasn't as bad as a lot, in my opinion, at least, that a lot of people kind of make it out to be. Same thing with part 3. I think 3 gets overly bashed.
I've always enjoyed part 3. I've never really had a real problem with it. I mean, it has some stuff in it, like, but I never really, I think the first 3 is like a pretty great trilogy. Maybe not as good as some, but it's not bad.
I think the problem with 3 was the director. And I think even Mancini says something to that effect in one of the interviews. And it's not that he's a bad director per se. He was just the wrong director.
Yeah.
Because it was a guy who worked in television a lot. Let me see what the hell his name was here. Jack something earlier, I think it is. It's two. Whoops. Yeah, Jack Bender. I mean, he did a ton of television work. And unfortunately, even though, like I said earlier, they spent $1 million more on this one than they did Child's Play 2. On 3 they did.
Yeah.
It looks cheaper. It looks like it's shot for it looks like a straight to home video movie. Even though it cost $1 million more, and it wasn't. It was a theatrical release. In fact, they rushed it in the theaters because Child's Play 2 was such a success.
Yeah.
It literally came out a year almost to the day that Child's Play 2 did. In fact, I think less than a year.
That's probably, I mean, people's like, how did Andy get so big?
And Mancini said he did that on purpose because at that point it was the same thing then. He's like, what do I do? I can't have him keep chasing the kid.
Yeah, he can't keep.
You got to let Andy grow a little bit, right? Like, yeah. I mean, it's so I don't mind that. And me, it logically makes sense. Where is Andy going to go at some point? He's going to probably go to some kind of military school or some kind of, boys school or something like that. So that part makes sense. Yeah,
like homeschooled, like for kids or something.
Yeah,
boys.
some kind of home, like like something like Toy Soldiers was or whatever. Where you have, because he's obviously what do you call it? He's the state's responsibility now. So
yeah.
So and at the same time, what's great about it is I don't know if Mancini did it deliberately, but it seemed to sync up perfectly with like. By the time you do the time jump and you figure out the math, Bride of Chucky happens literally right after Child's Play 3 in the timeline. Yeah. Because technically Child's Play 3 takes place somewhere between 1996 and 1998. Yep. Even though because he's 16 years old and he was 6 years old in the first film. So if you figure 10 years, that's 1998.
Yep. And sure, I mean, it does sync up. And plus she's getting him right from the police thing right then and there. So. It works.
I mean, it could be a few weeks, whatever you want to figure it, but yeah, like it totally. Like I was thinking about that. I'm like, damn, that does sync right up.
It kind of does.
And he's always
that's just like pure happenstance, I bet.
No, I don't know for sure because the way Mancini talks, I mean, he is like that was the thing is he was very into the canon of these characters, right? Like he was very in depth with a lot of it. Like he even wrote out like a whole bunch of this Charles Lee Ray stuff, I guess, before because they even get a little deeper into it in the Curse of Chucky, if you remember.
And
I think a lot of like some of that whole idea and stuff like even the idea of like I think he said something about like the idea of Tiffany was even a character that came to him a little earlier on too. And she was based upon some other kind of like idea that he had before too that kind of melded with it. And like the whole thing is like he really seems like he had a lot like he's the keeper of the franchise, right? Yeah. He's the creator, plus he's he's your George Lucas when it comes to Chucky. Mm-hmm. He's the guy who created him. One. And him and David Kirshner are the only two besides Brad Dourif who have been through every single one of them.
Yeah. I was about to say he's the only slasher, whatever you want to call it, because I don't know if it's like a slasher. I guess it is, but whatever. It's the only one from the 80s that is actually still continuing in the same
its own
timeline.
I think I brought that point up too, yeah.
Yeah.
Where they haven't had a reboot
yeah. Freddy ended with pretty much Freddy's dead and then New Nightmare and then the reboot, which was horrible. And then Halloween, we know Halloween. And same with Friday the 13th did end it. Jason X,
speaking of Halloween, I heard a rumbling that Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2 might be coming to 4K soon too.
Oh, from Shout?
Yeah, but I think it's going to be a separate deal than the other bit.
I don't want to buy them, but I may.
I don't either.
I don't really want to buy them, but I may, if they have just the theatrical version, maybe.
The first one maybe on 4K, but I have zero interest in the second one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to try to figure out how to get the other two Child's Play here soon. So hopefully with the kids going back to school.
Hopefully they'll go on sale soon, because it seems like when Shout releases these, like in about a month after they come out, they generally tend to do some kind of sale with their newer titles. And I don't think these are going to quote-unquote sell out right away.
No, I don't think so either. But I think part 2 and part 3 might be the first two to go OOP before the first one does. Late down the line,
will. I guarantee you 2 will. 3
Definitely.
might not, because the one that the fan favorite is 2. So
yeah,
And this is and 2 and 3 did need a massive
Yeah,
upgrade.
and it's like the first time they've been on for any type of special edition type 4K type.
Yeah, I mean,
shot
I have the
screen
old
factory,
Blu-ray
but
here, but these old Blu-rays are even
Not
Bride
very
of
good.
Chucky is looking kind of skanky on here.
I wish we could get Bride of Chucky.
And that's one that
really
I
do
tell
like
you,
that.
Ronnie Yu even talks about it in the commentary about them using some new Kodak film for that movie. And I remember the movie itself in theater when it came out on video, how good it looked on DVD. This Blu-ray though does not live up to my memory of how good that movie looked, because he was talking about how it was some new Kodak film they used, and it was like the darkest of darks would show up the best, and the lightest of lights would show up the best, and it was like perfect film. What it sounded like would be made for 4K, right? Like the way he explained this film, and this was just before digital started creeping in, so this would have been like the height of film, what they could do with it. So I'm curious what this movie would look like in 4K, because I remember it looking stunning in the theater. I remember the VHS and the DVD both looking stunning.
So do I.
And then this Blu-ray, it's just like this, just something's missing here. It feels like it's very dry and drab, or something's wrong. It does. It feels like it's missing a lot of the color and a lot of the depth and the contrast that the Blu-ray and that the DVD had,
Right.
for my memory. And I don't have the DVD anymore, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would pop on 4K. That's what I'm surprised we didn't. Maybe they're waiting to do like what they're doing with the Halloweens. Maybe next Halloween or something, they'll give us Bride, Seed, and Curse. And
I think so.
I wonder if they'll do Curse and Cult.
Maybe. They'll
That'd
probably
be
do all
interesting.
4 of those in the second box set, yeah.
Personally, I'd probably stop at Bride, maybe Curse, but we'll see.
Honestly, Cult might be too new, that they probably would just do Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they do Curse and Cult. And I'm not even sure if it'd be worth doing those in 4K, because I don't know if there's a 4K version that exists.
Yeah, they were shot on it cheaper than the rest of them. So
Well, they were shot on digital, and I'm sure they were finished in 2K, not 4K.
Yeah.
Same thing with the series, so yeah.
Yeah. But it was good. I really dug the 4K. I'm looking forward to watching some more special features. I thought that was just like,
Honestly,
it was amazing.
I'm trying to remember. Seed of Chucky might have even been shot digitally. Because that might be one of the reasons why it looks cheaper than the other ones. I know, well, of course, it was like half the money, half the budget.
Yeah, it does have a different tint to it, like feel to it when you watch it.
It might have been one of the earlier digital films. I'd have to look.
I think maybe I know some people, like you said, they hate it, but I think one of the things with like maybe the hate it gets is because after watching Bride of Chucky, which was surprisingly good, and then you have the setup at the end when she gives birth, and then the Seed of Chucky comes out very differently than sort of even Bride of Chucky. So I think maybe people were just like, didn't get what they expected right off the bat. But
they kind of missed a window by getting Seed of Chucky out quick on the draw too.
Yeah, they probably should have waited. And
like I said, it had half the budget of Bride of Chucky. It literally had the same budget as Part 2. Over 10 years after the fact. So, I mean, that's how much less they got spent on it. Let me see if I can find out if it was shot digitally or not. But anyway, we could probably move on to.
Yeah.
So.
I was going to say, we spent almost an hour talking about it.
It's a good
Chucky,
show.
Man.
Yes,
I know.
And it's like we haven't talked about this 100 times.
Well, we've talked about Chucky more than this, probably. No, I'm just kidding. I don't.
Well, it's just because you haven't seen the other ones and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I know. No, but I just found this on Twitter. You can pre-order Top Gun Maverick. They finally released the steelbook art. Looks pretty badass, and it actually comes with the Blu-ray. Thanks, Paramount.
Yeah. We talked about this earlier. We showed it earlier. Matter of fact,
showed it in Well, I didn't watch.
Yeah, you didn't watch.
Well, sorry, Greg. Fuck you.
No.
Now I'm not gonna watch. Now I'm not gonna watch 4K for you for this week. Fuck you.
No, it was shot on film. Seed of Chucky was.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that'd be interesting to see them two on 4K once they come out.
Yeah, I think what they'll end up doing, if they even do Seed of Chucky, I was going to say, I think they'll just end up doing Bride of Chucky on its own.
Probably. Yeah.
They'll probably do some fancy kind of set for that one, since that's the highest grossing one and all that shit. I have a feeling.
By the way, I knew Top Gun Maverick was coming out like November 1st because that was like news like yesterday or whatever. But like they finally just like released like steelbook concept art or something.
Yeah, Tim.
Yeah.
Most movies are shot digitally now. The only
Yeah,
movie I
they
can
are.
think of in recent years that was shot on film was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. Doesn't
I watched Top Gun Maverick twice in the theater, and there were at least some things that looked like it was shot on film.
It might have for some of the
Yeah.
IMAX stuff. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm pretty sure because I saw like some film grain in some shots.
I thought Nolan still shot on film.
No, yeah, I think he does.
He did. I didn't know if he did for the last movie or not. You could be right though.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I never watched Tenet, but Tenet looks like it was probably digitally.
That's what I was going to say. I think he switched over here, but you could be right. He might still shoot on film.
I feel like he still shoots on film.
But we'll have to see.
No, actually, it looks like Top Gun Maverick is all digital.
Oh, wow.
4K and
Interesting.
6K.
Oh, really?
They have a 3D version too, evidently, that never got released in the US. Interesting.
Tom's going to be searching for that.
Huh.
Oh. Runner, you want to go ahead since we talked Child's Play? What do you got
we
for
all
us?
showed it. All right, so I got
We
another.
showed our thingies.
We showed our things. Ours were bigger than yours.
Wow.
Did I even really show Child's Play 2 and 3?
No, you didn't.
It's
I
fine.
mean,
You can hold
I
them
didn't
up on your next turn.
yeah, I ain't worried about it.
Um,
I should go grab the other. I haven't even opened up the other. What do you call
Slip
it?
covers?
Slip covers yet? Because they're in plastic. I'm like, fuck it. And I like the original poster art anyway.
Yeah.
So if you want to see it, just go look on Shout Factory.
Yeah.
Okay, so 65 millimeter for Tenet. Damn. Wow.
Nice. Go figure.
That's a
All right.
rarity. Okay, Runner, go.
Yeah, what do you got, Runner?
all right, so this is another steelbook I got.
Run.
It's another steelbook I got. It's I finally collected all 3 of this trilogy. And yes, it is a trilogy. There is no 4th movie to this trilogy. You probably know what I'm talking about since I'm, not including the
Debbie
4th movie
is
because it
Dallas
doesn't exist.
Part 3.
No,
Debbie
Not
is
even-
Dallas.
not even fucking close. It's the 3rd movie, and for what I recall, it might be your favorite of the 3, Greg.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about. It's hard to pick between the first one and the third one.
Oh, I thought you said the 3rd one was your favorite.
It's hard to pick. I know you're
Oh,
going for it, so just show
The
it.
first one's my favorite. Yeah, it's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Bum, 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 bum,
With
bum,
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
With
You know,
Sean
I'm starting to-
Connery.
You know what? I'll say this, Runner. I'm starting to wish I would have just waited and bought these steel books. I probably would have spent less.
Oh, I know. I feel you, man. I feel so bad for anyone who bought those crappy steelbooks.
No, I didn't get this crappy steel books. I bought the main one, but it was
Big
still
full
way
game.
too expensive, and I got stuck with Crystal Skull
No.
anyway,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I get
which was shot digitally in 1080p, so it's an up convert, kids. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check on that. but
yeah, and I'm not buying Crystal Skull because I don't need to.
Oh, you'll buy it. You watch and see.
Are you fucking kidding me?
His face.
No. God,
I know,
hate-
Dan Blackroyd. Quentin Tarantino did actually say he liked Crystal Skull over the other ones, over the last one,
Wait, what?
which is weird. I knew that. I saw
Why?
that.
You know what's fucked up in the head? Tarantino said that the other day too. He
Yeah,
actually
that's who he's talking about.
preferred Crystal Skull to
Yep.
for some reason to the Last Crusade. I don't understand why, but I guess I'll have to listen to his
He's-
reasoning on that.
He's got to
Yeah.
be trolling, right?
Yeah. Oh no, actually, I take it back. It was partially filmed in both, but I guess they did a digital intermediate of 4K for the new. So the new. Oh, at least they made it worth paying for the son of a bitch, even though I'll probably never watch it. They did a new 4K interpositive for it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm. But for real though, I'm not buying Crystal Skull because I don't need to. I got the 3 steel books for the first 3, and those are the only ones that matter.
We'll see.
end-
We'll see, Runner. We'll see.
We'll see. No, I'm not wasting my money on that. I'm sorry.
We'll
not
see.
doing that.
Though I will say, speaking of Tarantino, he did say that he really thoroughly enjoyed Top Gun Maverick, which I know you love talking about that.
Yeah,
and
he did.
he said it was one of the best films he's seen in a long time. He didn't think they'd make movies like that again.
Yeah,
So,
and I think he even mentioned like it made him happy because he knew Tony Scott and all that, and he says like it felt like a Tony Scott film, which it did. So yeah, because I remember seeing an article like, Quentin Tarantino's rare review of Top Gun Maverick. It's like, oh shit, he's gonna say something terrible, I bet.
yeah. No, he loved it. But he also loved
he loved
the West Side Story remake, which I can't
I'm-
agree with him on that one.
I haven't seen that one. Have you, Greg?
No, but I don't have any interest in that one.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. I'm sorry.
No, it doesn't. Yes, Indian. I have a feeling, much like the Hobbit movies are about to be like the Star Wars prequels are about to be reconsidered. Indiana Jones 4 may be reconsidered itself with Indiana Jones 5. I have a feeling that's going to happen, Brad Barth.
Yeah, I have no interest in Indiana Jones 5. I liked some of the stuff the director has done, like Logan and Ford v Ferrari, but the way he just shat on the fans on Twitter,
And the fact that even if he wasn't, even if he didn't do that, he's still saddled by Disney, Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, and there's whatever they want to do.
Wasn't he work for hire? Because wasn't Spielberg supposed to do
Pretty
it?
much, Spielberg just gave it up because I'm pretty sure he knew where it was headed, and he was like, "I have no part of this. Wash my hands."
Yeah, and honestly, for how the last movie did, I would have done the same thing.
I'm pretty sure, like you just said a minute ago, Brian Barth, pretty sure you'll be seeing that meme with Thanos. Perhaps I judged you too harshly with the Indiana Jones 4, even though it probably is still going to suck.
Yeah,
regardless of 5, because
I was gonna say it's still gonna suck because like the first like 10 minutes or whatever of Crystal Skull like actually felt like Indiana Jones, but then once you get to the scene where he fucking gets in the fridge and then he survives it, it's like, what the fuck is this shit? And then you get to the third act of it all where there's an alien like going up close to the camera.
It's not an alien. It's not an alien.
Like literally like
it's a being from in between the worlds in between the worlds.
Well, I don't
it's
care.
Not an alien.
I don't care what it is. It did this dumbass like zoom up where like he like sticks his head right at you.
Somebody needs to do that again. How to do it? Yeah, somebody clip that, meme the shit out of that.
Yeah, all right, do it. I don't care. But no, and then a fucking UFO just pops out of nowhere out of a mountain. It's like, fuck this movie.
It's not a UFO. Has nothing to do with aliens. It's from the worlds in between the worlds, man. Get it right.
You think I give a fuck? Seriously.
You're missing the joke here, I think.
I know he's missing it totally over his head.
There was a famous interview with Steven Spielberg, and I believe it's in the making of or somewhere on one of those things, where he's like, I didn't want to make this movie.
For fuck's sakes, you really think?
And he's like, but George insisted, and he'd been insisting for years, and I kept saying no because I didn't want to make another movie with aliens in it. And then finally one day George comes to me and goes, "They don't have to be aliens; they can be interdimensional beings." I was like, "Fine, whatever."
I'll do it.
Wow,
since you're my friend.
And that's kind of the attitude he went into this movie with.
And you can tell.
You can tell.
You can tell.
I didn't know Greg was trying to make like a joke out of it. I thought he was being for real. Like it's just like I don't give a fuck what they are. They're fucking aliens.
That's pretty much what Steven Spielberg kept probably saying to George too.
Yeah, I bet.
But as I do honestly, I go back and forth with Raiders and Last Crusade. I love all three. I even love Temple of Doom. I don't care what people say. I think that one movie
Temple of Doom's
is
great.
Freaking awesome.
Temple of Doom's great. The hate that movie gets is fucking like atrocious.
No, I pretty much like them in the order they came out. Really, I mean, sometimes if you ask me on a certain day, I might even like Temple of Doom best.
Me too.
That was the one I grew up on the most.
Me too. That was the first one I saw.
And that one has.
I mean, I was born in '80, so that came out in '84. So that was the one that was the movie. when I was a kid. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Truly, they're just the first three movies are just truly great, and you could be watching Raiders and be like, you know what, Raiders is my favorite. And then you could be watching Temple Doom, and you could be like, Temple Doom is my favorite. Then get to Last Crusade, and you're like, this movie is just fucking awesome.
You're not wrong.
And then you get to Crystal
and that
the
was
Skull,
the sad part, and I think that's one of the reasons why Spielberg was so upset by making a fourth film. Was that it was like the perfect trilogy. And there's very rarely do you get to that third film and it ends on such a perfect note and it's well done. And I mean, at that time, it was probably the best received critically of the films.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine even got probably higher ratings than the first two films did. I know the second film got raked over the coals, but yeah.
Yeah. Because it wasn't Raiders, it was different.
Oh, they hated the second
film. And it was a prequel.
It was dark. That was why they didn't like it.
Yes. Yep. You always got to go dark on the second movie. The second movie has to be darker than the first one.
Well, the thing is that I argue, and why I personally, besides the growing up on it part, the reason I'll make an argument for Temple of Doom over the other two is that to me, Temple of Doom emulates the serials that George Lucas and Spielberg are trying to emulate better than the other two movies did.
Mm-hmm.
See, the first film feels more like I'm trying to think of the director's name, but he used to make like all kinds of like sweeping epic, like treasure hunt kind of movies and shit.
Oh yeah, I think I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of his name either. It's on like the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, but it feels more like one of those kind of movies than it does a serial. To where when you get to Temple of Doom, that has more of the elements that you would see in a lot of those cheap Saturday morning serials from the typical kind of character that Indiana Jones was based on.
Right.
And with like not voodoo, but the God damn it, the hell they're called, the Kalima, all that shit.
Oh yeah,
Kalima. Can't remember their actual name. The Thuggy, like the whole thing with the Thuggy and all that kind of stuff. Like that kind of shit feels more serial, right? And you have a lot of cliffhanger kind of shit there and stuff like that, which they did have in the first film. Don't get me wrong, but the first film almost feels like it's too light, too polished, where the second film feels a little bit more dirty and a little bit more, not cheaper, but it just, to me, it feels more like what I remember of those serials, seeing them growing up and shit, a comparison. But that's just me. And then The Last Crusade just kind of feels like the prestige version of it all. Because you got Sean Connery and, riding off in the sunset and the Holy Grail and all that business. So it's like, where the hell do you go from there? Right?
Exactly.
Like, where else can you go besides the Holy Grail? I mean, that's the Holy Grail.
Exactly. It's like Dave Blacker said, they literally end riding off to the sunset. Plus, you get the Holy Grail, you get the night. It all works out well.
The sunset ending, that is a perfect ending to a trilogy right there.
Yeah. So where
the Holy Grail is the metaphor. I mean, you're literally going after the metaphor for fuck's sake.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Holy Grail of
Holy Grails. I mean,
yes, it's the Holy Grail of Holy Grails. So where does Paramount hold stake in Indiana Jones with it?
I don't think they have any anymore. Just the distribution on the old films, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think there's much to that anymore with the Lucasfilm now.
I believe the newest film will be all completely Disney.
And you'll be able to tell too. Trust me, you'll be able to tell. You can tell right now by just seeing all the information and pictures that's come out. So, yeah, I have to get the 4Ks. I still have my Blu-ray box set from that George Lucas released in Paramount. So I have to step it up and get the 4Ks. I'll probably do like Runner and just get this if they're still available.
George did these scans too.
Yeah. So that's good.
As far as I know. Because I think he did these at the same time he did Star Wars, and Coppola did a bunch, and Spielberg did a few. Because they did a bunch at 6K.
Nice.
And they did like Jurassic Park and E.T., Star Wars, Jaws. They seemed to do them all. They were all at like the same time they did them all.
Cool. But yes, that was a good. At least you almost completed your collection there, Runner. You still got one more to get.
No, I don't. Whenever I go to my Best Buy and I see that movie, I'm gonna skip it and be like, nah.
Chat, you know what to do. He mentioned it, so go on.
Nope, not buying it.
The ones that are members.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. But Tom, do you want to go ahead? Do you want to show your next one?
Sure, I can do that. How much later are we going here? Should I save one for next time or?
I got two more, so.
All right. Let's do this one now, since we're just talking about Tarantino.
Okay.
All right.
I finally got around to watching True Romance in 4K.
There you go.
Oh, I have that too.
And this is the imported version before the new American version that came out, but it's the same thing. Great fucking flick, of course. I mean, still holds up, looks great. Speaking of Tony Scott, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's probably my favorite Tony Scott film.
It's a great movie. I feel left out here because I still haven't got mine. Like I said, though, but I've been trying to save some money up here because there's a bunch of releases coming that I want to get. So I kind of held off on some titles.
I got to save my money for September.
I know September and October is going to be a bitch.
Well, I'm not talking about physical media. I'm talking about Horror Hound.
Oh, I was talking about physical media. But yes, True Romance is a great flick, and you got to do like you did earlier, Tom, with the Tarantino voice and the about Christian Slater. About
oh well, we had talked about before how I swore that I knew that Tarantino had basically based a lot of this film on himself, specifically the Christian Slater part, obviously. And I knew I wasn't crazy, but I couldn't find the interview or where he's talking about it. Well, I believe that they have a Tarantino commentary on here, which is probably, to me, the crowning jewel of all which is a ton of special features, interviews, all that shit on here. Like this.
Oh, yeah.
Brimmed off. Of all those things, though, my favorite has got to be the Tarantino commentary. And that's where he gets into that whole thing, because he was talking about how, you know, Christian Slater is the closest to him in real life. And he was just talking about how it's weird because it's me, but it's not me. Because it's me, but it's like, if Tony Scott did your home video, okay? Like, all right? Like, if your home video was shot by Tony Scott, that's what this movie is, right? Like, it's me. But it's, like, full of this action and suspense and, you know, drug dealers and killing. And, of course, none of that shit happened. But the rest of it is, like, my life. You know?
It's so true, though. It is so true.
And it's just, and I'm like, I know I wasn't crazy. And he keeps going on about it in the commentary. So I'm like, okay, I must have had listen to this on Laserdisc, because I don't think I ever had this on DVD. I did, but I think it was originally just a flipper, one of those old ass. One side was full screen, one side was like DVDs. Old ass. Even with the snap case that Warner Brothers used to have. And then they did a director's cut, and I remember I never got it. So I'm like, I'll just wait for it on Blu-ray. And then right around the time I was thinking of, I can't remember if it had ever come out on regular Blu-ray or not. But I was like, I remember hearing about, I was going to about getting it. And then this version was announced or whatever. I heard rumblings about it. So I'm like, nope, I'm just going to wait. Because this has already been out technically now for well over a year. But no, it's a great fucking flick.
That whole scene with Dennis Hopper and Christopher Walken is probably like some of the best. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah. That whole scene was so fucking good.
Well, Bryant, he actually answers that question in the commentary. He spends a good amount of time talking about it because he wrote this to be his first movie, and he couldn't sell it. He also then he went and wrote Natural Born Killers. Nobody wanted that either. So then he's like, all right, I'm gonna write something, because then he sold True Romance to some foreign company. So the money that he was going to make from True Romance, he knew exactly the amount he was going to be able to set aside. So he's going to take half the money that he was going to get, and he knew exactly what he was going to have to work with. So he wrote Reservoir Dogs, knowing he was going to, or at least at that time, thinking he was going to shoot it on 16 millimeter for $16,000, which was half the money he made for selling True Romance.
And Natural Born Killers was the one that Tarantino hated, right?
Yeah. Well, then eventually, so then he ended up making a deal for Reservoir Dogs that ended up getting for 1.5 million. So he's like, holy shit. So now this just became a movie, right? Like an actual movie.
Yeah.
So then in the interim though of that happening, he had met Tony Scott, and he gave Tony Scott the script for not Reservoir Dogs. I think he gave him Reservoir Dogs as well, but he gave him the other two scripts as well. And he's like, oh, I want to direct this. He's like, no, I'm directing that. He's like, you can have either of the other two though. They're all yours. He's like, well, the one I really, really like besides Reservoir is True Romance. He's like, okay, well, here's the issue. All right. He's like, here's the thing. There's this foreign distributor guy that owns it already. Go talk to him. I'm sure they'll make the movie with you. And of course, it just happened to work out that clearly that, Tony Scott wants to make your fucking movie. You say yes.
Yeah, you go. Yep. Where do I sign?
Yeah, exactly. Where the fuck do I sign? So like it just happened to go off without a hitch. But he happened to finish Reservoir before True Romance came out. And then in between all that is when Oliver Stone picked up the option for Natural Born Killers, and as far as Tarantino's concerned, he completely raped his script. But
yes.
But True Romance, he said, it wouldn't be the same movie, okay, right? Because when I wrote True Romance, I was not the same person, right? Like I wrote True Romance like in the middle of the 80s, right? Okay, like you gotta understand, like her saying Burt Reynolds is her favorite actor, like it seems kitschy and like cool and hip at the time. But you gotta remember, when I wrote this, Burt Reynolds was the biggest fucking star in the world, okay? Like, like I accidentally backed myself into this thing. So he's basically explaining this whole idea of his like little hipster conversation that these characters have was all accidental.
Yeah.
It was because they just didn't update the script. And so like all her answers, and he's like, the other funny part is all her answers are basically just the Playboy questions. Or all the questions he's asking her. They're literally like, just go through, like, that's what the Playboy questions are. Like, what's your favorite color? Yeah. What's your favorite movie? Yeah. What's your favorite song? What turns you on? What turns you off? So he's like, yeah. So he gives that whole thing away. He goes, but the only difference would be, okay, so the only big difference, if I directed the movie. And he goes, I didn't want to. I didn't want to, because at that time, I directed my first movie. It was Reservoir Dogs. I needed to make my second movie. Okay. And if I would have stepped back and made, this movie, it wouldn't have been the same movie. And I don't think I would have grew as a director. Because Tony actually was gracious enough after Reservoir Dogs and all that stuff. He saw it and he thought it was great. He was going to let me come in and direct it and just have him produce it. I'm like, no. You just make it your movie. Because if I do this now, it's going to take me back. My future is Pulp Fiction. Because at that time, he had already started writing Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
So he's like graciously on the other end of it goes, no. You make it your movie. Do whatever the fuck you want with it. It's no longer my story. Right?
Right.
So what he said Tony did was restructured it and changed the ending. He goes, that's the one thing that Tony did that I was just vehemently against was him changing the ending. Because to me, that was my movie. That was my fucking movie. And you're like, I didn't care about all this other stuff, but you can change the order of shit. I don't care. Right? That's fine. That's Tony making it a Tony Scott movie. But to me, the story was this. And Tony took me aside and he goes, look, I know you want to do this. And it's this big pretentious fucking ending thing. And you think you're being a better storyteller for doing this. And I made an argument. It's like, Tony, you did this in the movie. I can't remember the title of the movie. He's like, the hero dies at the end, man. You fucking did this originally. If we let Christian live, then it's just gonna be like every fucking Hollywood movie out there, man. He's like, but that's the thing. I like these characters. Okay. And the audience is gonna like these characters. And if you kill him, they are going to hate you for it. Mm. And not only they're going to hate you for it, you didn't earn it. And he goes, I went home and I thought about it. And he goes, but Tony, in his graciousness, he goes, look, this is what I'm going to do for you, though, Quentin. He goes, I'm going to film it both ways. Because this wasn't just a little feat. There's a few pieces of this they had to film two different ways to make this work. So they had both choices. And he goes, when I get in the editing bay, I'll decide. But just go home thinking about what I said. He goes, and watching the movie now, he's like, he's totally right. He's totally right. You can't kill him. He's too lovable of a character, right? Like, you can't do that to him. You can't do that to her. You can't do that to the True Romance.
Exactly.
You can't do that. He goes, he goes, Tony was 100% right. And it was my only gripe at the time. And I take it back. And he goes, As far as I'm concerned, Tony Scott made a better True Romance than I ever could have.
There you go. And that explains it.
And I did see the alternate ending on.
Yeah, just basically Christian Slater dies.
Yeah, I know.
And she goes off on her own.
I had a feeling that was gonna be like the ending before.
He just doesn't wake up, and she leaves, and she's all by herself on the road, and she just takes off. That's it.
No, because when I saw like the actual version where he lives, it's like, oh, there was. I'm assuming there was a version where he dies. So then I watched the alternate ending, and it's like, oh, he fucking dies, and it's like, then I watch it, and I'm like, damn it, it would have fucking sucked, honestly, if that was the ending. So yeah, I agree with Tony Scott 100%.
Tony Scott knew doing it. I'm glad he did. And there's a much more difference to why he hates natural born killers over because
that's like, because Oliver Stone took that and made it an Oliver Stone movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was supposed to be a Bonnie and Clyde story, and it just became something completely else. Like Oliver Stone made it like this comment on how movies and television were infecting the youth, and it was pretentious as fuck. Yes.
Well, speaking of Oliver Stone, I did watch The Doors recently.
And?
I enjoyed it. It was fucking good. Val Kilmer was fucking fantastic.
Speaking of, Val Kilmer's in True Romance.
Yes, yeah.
That's right. Dude, he was so fucking good in that.
You always forget that, too, until the end. You're like, oh, that's right. He plays Elvis.
He does this shit all the time. He starts talking about something that's connected to something we've been talking about, and he doesn't realize it.
I know. I forgot he was in that, too, because I mentioned... because when I brought in True Romance like a few weeks ago, I mentioned that Val Kilmer was in it. And I told him like his like Elvis impression is probably like the best one that I've seen in live action. Honestly,
you gotta watch.
I watched Top Secret too.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
Oh yeah, dude, he's great in that too, and that was his first like movie.
Yeah, it was what it's. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. It was hilarious.
Have you seen the documentary Val?
No, I haven't watched that about
you
it.
You should.
I saw half of it. I haven't got to finish it yet though.
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing. I
know Adam Marcus hates him. So
who?
The director of Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh.
He directed him in a movie, and he had a really bad experience with him.
Oh, was that the one with Marlon Brando?
No.
Okay, because in the documentary, there was some movie that Val Kilmer made with Marlon Brando.
Oh, that was that
Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah, that movie. But like Val Kilmer, like he like taped some footage on his camera, and he had like a big fucking fit with the director. Like he had this big fucking fight with him, and like Val Kilmer said he was like devastated that, like, because Marlon Brando was like completely unrecognizable in this role he was playing.
Yeah, it's a bad movie.
I heard it was bad, but then Val Kilmer like actually like met Marlon Brando while he was like laying on a one of those what do you call them, like those rocker type things, and then Brando just told Val Kilmer to give him a shove.
Yeah,
and yeah, that kind of sucks. But the third like part of the movie is like, or the documentary is like pretty sad when like you get to some of his like personal life stuff later on. But other than that, it's a good fucking documentary.
I have to watch it. I've heard good things about that one.
It's really fucking good.
But now I'm jealous because I really want to get True Romance because I can't let Runner have it and me not have it. I can't do that. So I gotta get my True Romance coming in.
I saw some at my Best Buy recently still.
Oh, so. Fuck your Best Buy. Gosh.
Wait, Tom, quick question. You said that The Doors is on 4K? Because I tried looking that up and I didn't see it on Amazon.
Oh, it's on 4K. I've seen it.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, it even has an alternate cut on it.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best Dolby Atmos tracks I've ever heard.
Yeah, you told me that, and let me see. Let me look. Oh, shit, it does.
See, there you go. Oh, Cosmic Squirrel with the win.
I still prefer the theatrical cut, but yeah.
I don't know which version of the movie I watched.
Probably honestly. The theatrical.
Okay, yeah, because the theatrical cut's like really really fucking good. But like, that's probably Val Kilmer's best performance I've seen.
I dig it. I'm looking. I can't wait for Real Genius. That's gonna be awesome.
Oh yes, I
but I
fucking
guess
love
I'll go.
Real Genius.
Yeah, your turn finally.
I'll go on to my turn. How about a little bit of "Don't You Forget About Me"?
I'll be alone.
I have my camera went blurry. The 4K 35th anniversary steelbook of The Breakfast Club. So there's
4K.
Oh, well, not 4K. I'm sorry, Blu-ray.
I was gonna say 4K.
I didn't mean to say
When?
4K.
I was like, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't
Even though
say
I do
4K,
think it does have a
Blu-ray.
4K master, to be honest with you, but yeah.
That'd be nice. I know Criterion did this, didn't they? Didn't they put out one of these?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think when Criterion did it, they did it with a 4K master, I believe.
Yeah. So this is that, and it's just the Blu-ray. Yeah. So
It also has like an extended cut on there of it, but it's like off of a VHS or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. So
I think.
On the Criterion, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, on this one it has Accepting the Facts, Breakfast Club Trivia.
Yeah, I had that version, but I got rid of it for the Criterion one.
Yeah, I need to get the Criterion, but I saw this and it was actually pretty cheap. So I spent. I think
You know
it's
what?
like,
Hold up, because by the time you turn around and buy it, they'll announce a 4K.
I know that's why I never really went onto it, but I got this for like $16. So as I was like, yeah, I'll wait and see what happens. But it does have like a 12-part documentary on it and some other stuff. But yeah,
I would wait.
I'm gonna wait. But I just dug the steelbook look there, and it was only $16. So
there was a standard Blu-ray for The Breakfast Club at my Big Lots that I work at, and I debated on getting it, but I'm like, nah, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, you might want to wait because we'll probably get a 4K of it.
I'll probably get a 4K considering there are some other like John Hughes movies coming out on 4K. So
I was just gonna say that between that and that album that we talked about the other day last time on 4K for you.
And then
I think you're right, Runner. I think there's gonna be a big there's probably gonna be like a John Hughes box set. Most of his movies are Universal, aside from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and a couple that he did over at Paramount.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to. I always dug The Breakfast Club. It's one of those seminal films of the '80s, of growing up, and
or they might do a joint thing too. You never know.
Yeah.
Because that's what that soundtrack thing is. It's a joint between the Universal and the Paramount titles.
You never know. We might get lucky and get a big box set with all of them like that.
I feel like I've told you this story before, Greg and Tom, but did I tell you the story about one of the track coaches at my high school was in the movie? Did I tell you that story?
I don't think you did.
No, I don't think you have.
Really?
What movie? Breakfast Club?
Yeah, Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever told us that.
He makes a really short appearance. Claire's dad is the pole vaulting coach at my high school.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I never really got to talk to him. That's the thing. Because in track we're all like separated in different like events.
Well, did he happen to get the part because he worked at the school they shot it at the time or something, or what?
Well, I don't know, because like
he didn't talk to him.
Yeah.
No, I didn't talk to him. Plus, like pole vaulting wasn't something I was like too interested in because I thought, hey, I either do just normal running and not
make a joke about poles and you, but I passed.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, I do pole vaulting and I get injured, or I just do running and I'll be fine. I'll just get sores. I'd rather get sores than go to the hospital. No, I just looked on Amazon. It's like $17. It didn't come up the first time I looked it up, and then now when I use my computer, it did.
You're nuts. But
I seriously never told you that.
No, you never told us that, but you never talked to the guy. You could have just walked up and been like, "Hey, I heard you was in the Breakfast Club."
I know, but I've told this story to a few other people because some people like told me before I even like joined the team.
Runner.
It wasn't important to me,
Right. At that time, now you wish you did because now you know about movies.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's not like something I'm like, too salty about. It's like whatever. It's cool, but yeah. But when I saw him in that movie, it's like he looks nothing like he does now.
Well, yeah, that was the 80s, and you're like
I know,
in the
but
2000s.
I know, but he literally he does not look the same at all. At least some people kind of look the same, even when they age,
Yeah.
Like my dad, like the whole, like every single year I've known him, like he still looks the same,
Yeah. Sure.
So it's kind of like that. Oh, that's great.
He had the pole vault.
It's a little. It's a little Ewok, but then it changes into a big ass fucking bear.
Yeah, well, he's turning one. But yeah, that would be nice to get a box set of the John Hughes movies, especially the 4K of Breakfast Club. I love that movie. It's pretty good. It's one of the movies it's been parodied so many times in so many movies and TV shows throughout the years. The dancing, the running through the hallway, and all that. And so it's a great movie. It's a great fun time.
I even saw a John Hughes Blu-ray box set at Target, and I thought about getting it, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna pass. It's probably gonna come out in 4K,
Is that the one with Weird Science and
I didn't see Weird Science on there.
There's one with Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, and something else. I can't remember the third one.
I don't remember Weird Science being there.
I think it's 16 Candles, not Pretty in Pink.
16 Candles, yeah.
16 Candles, that was it.
Well, I know I got Weird Science from Arrow, and 16 Candles is from Arrow. Well, I don't have that, but it's from Arrow too. They made Arrow, so
you think
never know.
You think Weird Science is gonna get a 4K from Arrow?
Yeah, because it's got a master already.
Yeah, it's got a master.
I figured because I remember I remember Greg told me that Hellraiser was coming out on 4K.
Yeah, Hellraiser's coming out on
4K. Because I told him I thought about getting it on Blu-ray. He's like, no, wait, it's coming out on 4K. It's like, okay, thanks for the save.
Yeah, and I got the Weird Science Arrow, and it does.
What about the sequel? What about the sequel? Because the Blu-ray is on.
I would say they'll probably get a sequel to that one, a 4K to that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But like I said, you can always Tom can usually tell, or you can tell if you start seeing a movie from Arrow or Scream or whatever start going down in price real quick. Like there was Candyman was going for $11 at one time, which you knew 4K was coming. So that means the 4K is probably coming not too long after they start trying to sell off the inventory.
Or if it's not available, because Escape from New York Blu-ray was not available when I started looking around Scream Factory and all that, and then
well, in some cases that's because you never thought you was ever going to get a 4K, so everybody bought up bought it up. So
yeah, I know. That's why I bought Tropic Thunder on Blu-ray, the director's cut, because I never thought it'd come out on 4K, but it is coming out on 4K.
Brian Barth, I don't know, man. I love Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. There's just so many John Hughes movies. I even like Dutch. I would like a good Blu-ray of Dutch. That's one that definitely needs a good one. But yeah, there's just so many of them. Is Ferris Bueller John Hughes? It's John Hughes, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I love that one. That one, Breakfast Club, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, Weird Science. There's just so many of them.
I have the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles Steelbook on Blu-ray.
It's coming to 4K this November. So.
Oh, I know, but I bought it a while ago.
What the hell?
That was me. Sorry, I have my.
Why am I still hearing my voice?
Because I gotta turn on my headphone thing. Hang on. Sorry.
Is it good?
Fuck. No, it's my fault.
Okay.
It's my fault. Don't freak out, dude.
No, it's fine. I
was just gonna say, I was saying earlier, it feels like these directors are scanning all their movies at the same time, or they're scanning a director's movies specifically at the same time, no matter what company they're from, because Ferris has a 4K master.
Mm-hmm.
That's Paramount. I'm pretty sure 16 Candles has one, and so does We just said Breakfast Club and
Weird Science.
Weird Science have one. So now we're getting Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Mhm.
Home Alone 1 and 2. I just said Home Alone 2. Otherwise, all that's left is some of his lesser stuff, basically.
Pretty
After
much,
that.
yeah.
Pretty in Pink and that whatnot.
Yeah.
Actually,
like-
I think that has a 4K master too, now that I think of it. Yeah, it does.
There you go. See, maybe we'll just get like a really big box set, like since they did all the music and stuff. Maybe there is something coming. That would be.
Is it like
cool.
the anniversary of his death or something maybe coming up here too? That could be.
Let me check real quick.
Or like a specific, maybe it's his 50th or 60th birthday or something coming up maybe.
Let me see. I'm looking up John Hughes right now.
Because he wasn't that old when he died.
Yeah, he wasn't that old. He was born February 18th, 1950. He died in August 6, 2009. So the anniversary of his death went already.
Okay, he was born in 50.
Born in 50, died in 2009.
Well, his 75th birthday would be coming up in 2025.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see what they do. They got with that box set coming out with the soundtracks, though. I feel like something's on the horizon, and it feels like most of his major movies are in 4K. So it feels like, like they're gonna whip something up.
Something's coming. Something's coming. There's a storm coming. But yeah, Runner or Tom, who wants to go next? I know I got one.
I got
One
two.
left. Runner says he's got 2. How many you got, Tom?
Technically 2, but that was why I was asking you guys because.
How did I end up with 1 and you guys both ended up with 2? Because
Also, you have only earlier. 1. Okay.
Yeah, because I showed my other pick earlier when we talked Chucky's why.
Oh, well, I mean, I can only go one.
Curse.
If we want, I can go one more round anyway because we're already going late anyhow. So,
I can just show one. It's fine.
Okay, that's fine. I mean,
I
if
can do
that's
the
you
2
got
movies I
one.
have left together, basically.
Okay. So we'll go to you, Runner. What do you got?
All right. So this is I think recently it was the 35th anniversary for this film. Maybe you know what I'm talking about just by saying that. I watched it a few weeks ago for the first time, and I got it on Blu-ray just to watch it. I enjoyed it. I don't think this isn't the version that Greg has, because I know like he's got like a very rare like Blu-ray for this, but I ended up actually getting this one, which doesn't come with special features at all. It only just you only push play on it and that's it. And it's from a site I've never heard before called Olive Films.
Oh, Olives.
I've never heard of them in my life.
Yeah, Olive. Don't get the Monster Squad, Olive. Don't ever get that.
I did.
Oh, you son of a bitch. That is the worst.
I'm so sorry, Runner.
I feel so bad for you, Runner.
I'm so sorry, buddy.
And that was your first watch? That's a fucking awesome movie, and you had to watch it on Olive?
That's the most horrible scan of that movie, too.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
Olive Films, unless it's a movie that you cannot get anywhere else, avoid at all costs. And I know you had no idea. So it's not your fault.
I had no fucking idea.
Lionsgate did another version of that is far superior.
Oh, yes. That's the one I
Olive
had.
Films is one of those cheap ass companies. They tend to get like just the cable. They're a lot like Mill Creek.
Mm-hmm. But a little worse.
In some cases worse, yes, because even when there's situations like that, and they just did this is what's fucked up. They just released Cujo last year or the year before, and I bought it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because I thought it was going to be something new, and it was a really crappy scan, and it had no special features, and I knew there was another version out there. I bought this one thinking, oh, this will be the same thing carried over, probably just a new scan. Oh, fuck no. It was a new scan, all right, but it was worse. Because they did the same thing. Lionsgate had released Cujo years before that in a much far superior version. So unfortunately now they're out of print, so...
That's why I got this one, sadly. I didn't know.
That's the only Blu-ray that's
I'll have
available.
to hook you up, man. I'll have to hook you up somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, because that version is the worst.
That is bad.
Like, if you can hook me up with the better version, I'd like to compare the two just to see.
If you can
how
watch
bad it is.
MKV files, yeah, I can. I should be able to on your computer at least, anyway. Most things will play MKV files. Most players will.
Yeah, but Runner, did you like the movie at least?
Yeah, I had fun with it.
It's a great movie.
You
I
found
love
out
it.
Wolfman's got nards.
Wolfman's got nards. It is a great movie. I'm interested to see Noah because it's something like a lot of us grew up with that people didn't realize that it was such a like even they didn't realize it was such a popular movie amongst so many people because it flopped so hard at the box office and it just like sort of gained this huge following through the video rental and stuff like that. And it's just I grew up on that movie and I love that movie. And plus, I'm a huge fan of the Universal Monsters, so that helps because that's like some of the first horror movies I ever saw was the Universal Monsters and Monster Squad. So I love that movie.
Yeah, I wish you had seen it as a kid because you'd probably have a much different reaction to it. But
Me?
yeah,
I probably would have, but
because me and Greg growing up on that, like that was one of those movies that like every kid knew growing up.
Here's the real question. You think this is coming out on a 4K?
I would love it, but
I wouldn't expect it anytime soon.
yeah.
Okay.
Lionsgate, I think overall through Studio Canal owns the rights to it, but
I know because this is what confuses the fuck out of me. And maybe this is a problem with this version that I have. It says it's fucking Paramount in here.
oh well, they have the original distribution on it. That's why.
Yeah, so they have it's Paramount, but then like before that it was TriStar, which is Sony, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different companies that have a stake in that.
Yeah, so like it's weird.
Which
but
is
in
crazy.
the end, Studio Canal owns the actual distribution rights now.
And I wish they would give us 4K because it's crazy. If you watch check out the documentary Wolfman's Got Nards, directed by Andre Gower, who is Sean in Monster Squad. There, he talks about when they released it on Blu-ray and DVD. It was one of the highest selling DVDs and Blu-rays from Lionsgate at that time, or at the time of release, it all around, and they didn't expect it to be, and it won some awards too for being some of the best. Which you got the olive one, so you don't know it was one of the best awarded DVD Blu-rays with special features and stuff. So
no, I don't. Sadly.
I think the 4K would sell like gangbusters, but it's all up to Studio Canal and all that now.
I mean, it's one that I'm surprised Shout hasn't tried to get their hands on yet, or something like that. Or Arrow actually would be more probably the ones I would see getting it, but yeah, I mean,
I'd love it. I'd love an Arrow version of it, honestly.
It's one of those movies though that it didn't make any money in the box office, but it consistently has a life. But it was gone for the longest time. You just couldn't find it.
Yeah, you couldn't. Not at all, man.
And then finally it came out on DVD through Lionsgate years ago. But yeah, like it was like hard-ass movie to find.
Because they did. That's the thing is they didn't realize because it did flop and it was so bad, but they didn't realize that it had sort of took on its life of its own to so many kids that grew up in like.
Well,
80s
it never got
and
re-released
90s.
or anything really on video. It was only released I think once. And like I said, until the DVD came out like for the 20th or 25th anniversary.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, and it's crazy because you really got to watch that Wolfman's Got Nards documentary. It's really good because it is pretty heartbreaking to hear Fred Decker talk about how
between that and RoboCop 3, it kind of killed his career.
Yeah, it killed his career. It really killed his career because that's what he talked about. Because he says he thinks it's his best film he's ever made.
Yeah, and he wrote it with Shane Black.
What happened to him afterwards and everything, and with the movie, you can see it broke the man. Watching him sit there trying to talk about his experience,
really?
it broke this man. Yeah.
Fuck, that sucks.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, Runner, if like you even come across the DVD of Monster Squad from Lionsgate, it's almost worth grabbing.
Okay.
Because it's technically the same master, but it's just DVD instead of Blu-ray.
I actually have the original VHS, the DVD.
I wonder if the DVD of that would look even better than
it probably does.
I bet it would.
Does.
I mean, I bet it would, considering how bad you're making this version
It
out to
is
be.
night and fucking
Oh
day,
my god,
dude.
you don't know,
Like
man.
it is bad.
No, dude, like I wanna like own the superior like version on Blu-ray or something, just
And
so I
Cujo's
can.
the same way.
Yeah,
No,
you
but
don't
like
want to get that.
Let
I
me
know,
put
but
it this way: like, basically, the Lionsgate version looks like they both came from like very close to like interpositives or something like that. Really nice, fresh scans, 5.1 surround sound, all that business. Olive Films versions of both of those look like they were scanned off some grindhouse fucking leftover 35 millimeter film, and the sound sounds like somebody recorded it with a tin can.
It's bad.
It's like there's no depth to that soundtrack whatsoever, especially on Monster Squad. It sounds tinny as piss to me. Like there's no bass to it at all, it felt like.
Wait, so you guys have owned this version before?
Oh yeah, I have. I
haven't,
think I have
but
like
I've seen the
I
differences.
think it's in the other room, but yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't have it with my other Blu-rays though. I like tossed it in a
As it,
fucking
does it,
drawer somewhere.
I have a box where like I'm just putting like Blu-rays I don't need. So I'm willing to bet whenever I get a better version of this, I'm gonna throw this.
Well, you just go down to like one of your buy, sell, and trade places, trade them in, and buy some new movies that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's why I mean, like when I heard about that one, because I seen that, and I was because I have the DVD and the Blu-ray from Lionsgate. I have both of them, and I saw
it
that.
Looks like they got a fresh stock at Amazon. I mean, it's fresh enough that it's only $33. Yes,
That's
is the
not
better
bad.
version.
It's not
That
bad.
he just sent us a link for in the
Yeah,
private
I
chat.
sent a link in a private chat just to see if this is like the better version.
Hopefully that's the one you get if you order it, but yeah.
Yeah. But
Well,
like
if it's not, I'm gonna fucking
just return it. But,
return it, because I did that with the original Dawn of the Dead from Second Sight. Like I got that, and motherfucker gave me the Babadook.
The Babadook, which is a horrible movie.
I
hate elevated horror. I was thinking about doing a video on that, talking about how much I hate elevated horror.
I didn't give a shit if it was bad or whatever. I was pissed I didn't get what I fucking wanted.
That's why you should use with the like Diabolic or something, because it's a cheaper version of it now than the one Tom got.
I wonder if the Blob's going to be coming to 4K. It's on sale right now. The remake.
Oh, the remake?
I mean,
Damn it! I just bought that.
Because I'm wondering because I also heard some rumors about the Night of the Living Dead remake too. And I believe,
really?
I mean, those are both Columbia. Yeah, go ahead.
I need the Night of the Dead remake because I don't have a Blu-ray of that at all.
I have the import, which is the better version, I guess, from what I've heard. Because the Twilight Time version, I guess, has some really crappy color timing on it.
Well, I hope they fix a good 4K. That'd be nice. And I just bought the Scream Factory, the Blob. Well, I didn't just buy it, but it was like a year ago. But still.
How much did you pay?
I bought it for like $25.
Oh, you didn't pay too much. It's on sale right now, but I'm curious if it's on the going out of print thing too. Because if it is, then that's a good sign. Because I thought I heard something. Because for some reason I thought I heard that, like I said, that and Night of the Living Dead got 4K masters.
Well, I would get I would love the Night of the Living Dead. I'd probably buy the Blob too. I want the original Blob in 4K. I got the Criterion of the original. I would love to have that one in 4K because that's a 4K scan.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't gotten that one yet. That one's probably on the list of Criterions to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I have the import of the Blob. Or maybe that's one of the ones I was thinking. I can't remember now. I mean, the remake, I have the import. So, well, maybe I will. Should I pick this up or should I wait?
Speaking of which, if you guys are wanting some sales, MVD is having a full moon sale, which leads me into my final pick real quick. I'll show you guys. Or unless you want to go, Tom, before me.
Oh, I don't care. Go ahead if you want to.
Okay. But yeah, right now MVD is having a full moon sale, so you can pick up some full moon movies over there. And Vinegar Syndrome is about to have their first ever summer sale, which is coming up. But my final pick of the night is Head of the Family from Full Moon Features. If you've not seen this movie, you're missing out. It's a great, funny, just crazy, trashy movie, and it's awesome. If you've never seen it, it's about this small southern town where there's this weird family that lives in this really big mansion, and and they all have like certain abilities. One is a giant head who's the smartest of the family, and then he's got a brother that's the strongest, and he has a brother that has big eyes and ears that can see and hear, and then he has a sister that's extremely attractive.
I think Chris Gore sent me that movie.
Oh, really? You gotta watch it. It is great.
I'll have to go look. I think that's one of them. I'm pretty sure that's when he sent
This
me.
is so great. And then Jacqueline Lovell is in this movie. Oh my god, that chick is so hot. She's like naked in almost every scene. I mean full blown naked, frontal, everything. It's crazy. It's Charles Band though, so it's a great movie. So essentially, it's a small town, southern town. This guy is having an affair with this biker dude's wife, and he's like the biker dude is controls the town. So he catches the weird family taking people off the highway and experimenting on them. So he blackmails them to get rid of her husband so they can be together, and then he keeps blackmailing them for money. And so the family, they want their revenge. They don't want to be blackmailed. So that's what it's all about. Them like trying to figure out how to get these people. And then it's just crazy. You got to watch it. It's true 90s exploitation, horror comedy. I love it. And you could get it really cheap right now for anybody who wants to buy it on MVD for, I think if I remember correctly, it might be just $10 on MVD right now. So it's originally like $15. They're cheap to begin with from Full Moon, but it's like $15 on Full Moon. And I think it's $10 right now on the MVD sale. So check that out if you guys have not, because it's worth it. It's a good one. It's funny.
A quick question about this version of Monster Squad. How much did you guys pay for this version, if you remember?
Like 15, I think.
Okay,
I didn't pay for it. I didn't buy it.
I paid 17, so that sucks. I feel so fucking bad for buying this now.
Don't feel bad for buying it, because it's not really your fault because you didn't know. And
I feel bad for you, dude. Yeah, that's the thing.
No, the reason I feel bad is because I could have done the research and shit to see if it was good enough, but like because some people have given me shit for not seeing the movie, so that's why I bought it, because I wanted to see it. See if it's as good as some people are saying. And yeah, it's a good movie. I had fun. You can
always ask us in the future, dude.
Yeah.
I know. I just didn't think about it.
Yeah, I got a buddy who does that all the time with me. He asked me, is this the version that I should get? So yeah.
I'm glad I never bought it, because I had like I said, I had the Lionsgate Blu-ray and DVD, and then I saw that and I was like, "Ooh, is this a new version, or did they do something different?" And then I started investigating, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not buying that," because I started seeing the comparisons and stuff. And yes, Corlin Road, that chick, Jacqueline Lovell, in Head of the Family, is smoking hot. Anyways, but yeah, Runner, it happens to the best of us, like Tyrell72 said. It does. So don't feel bad, man.
Yeah, no. And I even did that for, was it Escape from LA? Sadly, the Paramount one.
No, did you?
Yeah, I bought that thing too, and then like the next day, I think I only watched the Bruce Campbell part because I love that scene because it's fucking hilarious. But then Tom, like the next day while we're on the show, he's like, they fucked up the sound. It's like, God damn it. My fucking God.
And you had to get it replaced.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't buy the Mad Max anthology when they fucked up that whole thing. Yeah, right off the bat. And then I waited for the
I'm surprised they fixed that, because like Tom said, Warner Brothers typically doesn't always go back to fix some stuff. What's up, Stephen Luther? Glad you're here. It's okay. Yeah, Tyrell, I do it too. I still do. I still mess up too. I've been collecting for a while. I mean, my collection isn't the best of everybody's. Sometimes I mess up and get crappy copies.
30 years of collecting. Holy shit.
Hey, man, it's a lifestyle.
I know, but holy shit. I don't know if I'd be able to collect for that long. I feel like I'd be broke as fuck.
How do you think I feel, Runner?
Yeah, okay, but it's just like
I've been maybe not 30 years, but I'd say about a good 20 years, maybe 25 years myself.
Okay. I don't know.
I've sort of since I was a kid because it's like I didn't even realize I was collecting at the moment. Like with VHS, I just kept like buying movies I really loved, and then before I knew it, I had like three shelves of VHSs.
Well, here's the difference.
And my mom was like, "You got to get rid of these. Get them out of the living room. I don't want these shelves in here."
Here's the difference, Greg. You're a veteran, okay, about this whole thing. Like you know your shit. You're more smart. I'm not. I spend way too much money at times. And I'm kind of a dumbass for it.
It's true, Tim Hayes. No, you're learning. You're getting into it, man. But it is true. If everyone will be broke as fuck if they constantly buy physical media, start to say, yeah, they will. But I keep buying it, and as long as I can, I will. But Tom, you want to go on and show your last two or one or whatever you got for us?
Well, I finished off the Shaft movie thing. I didn't watch the TV movies all the way through. I just couldn't find the time. So started with, of course, the 2000 film, which I remember at the time not really digging all that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like it a lot more now. But funny enough, it's got a hell of a cast that I forgot was in this. So you got like Vanessa Williams. You got Busta Rhymes. Toni Collette. But here's the funny thing. You have Batman and 2 Commissioner Gordons in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. I've seen that.
Let me
Jeffrey
guess.
Rush plays the main bad guy. Not Michael Goff. What's his name? The guy who played Commissioner Gordon in the '89 films.
Oh yeah. What is his name? Hold on.
I don't remember. His
he plays
name.
a judge in it anyway. And then Christian Bale.
Yeah.
is one of the main villains in it as well.
Oh.
So you have Batman and 2 Commissioner Gordons in this movie.
Wait, who was the other Commissioner Gordon other than the 89?
Oh God, I'm trying to remember his name. Somebody in the chat will get it.
That's what I'm looking him up to see. No, from the
89 no, from the 89 movies. No, it'd be really trippy if Oldman was in it too.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
I'm saying other
Pat
than
Hingle.
the 89.
Pat Hingle. Thank you.
There you go.
Oh yeah. But what about the other Gordon other than him?
Jeffrey Rush.
It was Jeffrey Rush.
You mean Jeffrey Wright?
Or Jeffrey Wright, yeah. Did I say Rush?
Yeah, right. Whatever. Why do we say Rush?
I was gonna say Jeffrey Wright. So the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because he's playing like a Puerto Rican, which is hilarious.
The scene that always I remember the most from that movie is Christian Bale walking down the street, stabbing himself in the chest.
Yes. That's crazy. No, like this movie, which is funny, like this movie makes it this movie is more racially driven than any of the other fucking Shaft movies. Right. What's weird is if this movie would have come out now, people be calling it kind of woke. Not woke as fuck, but they'd be calling it kind of woke.
Right.
But overall, I enjoyed it. Much better than the third Shaft film, but not nearly as good as the first one, obviously.
Of course.
But Samuel Jackson does a pretty decent job, but it's a very straightforward kind of cop procedural kind of show movie, almost like kind of a show at that time. Just like flashy editing and stuff. John Singleton directed it, of course. It was decent enough. I liked it. Pleasantly more surprised by it than I thought I was going to, because I remember hating it at the time it came out, or not hating it, but it was one of those movies I didn't like enough to ever buy again.
Right.
Until now.
And then all the shit we got nowadays, it's a much better movie than you remember.
If you guys will recall, we got another movie. So here's the thing. We have a movie called Shaft that came out in 1971. We have a movie called Shaft that came out in 2000. And we have a movie called Shaft that came out in 2019.
It's like how many
we
Halloweens
have a
is
winner
there?
here, kids, as far as how many times can you use the same title and it beat Halloween simply because these all still take place in the same timeline.
Yes, the same timeline.
At least one of the Halloweens is technically a remake.
Yeah.
So we have a winner, folks. How many times can you have the same title for a movie in the same franchise 3 fucking times.
Holy shit.
So how was the new Shaft?
And
though?
this
'Cause
is the movie that follows this one. So you
Yeah.
say Shaft is after Shaft.
Not Shaft
But this
2.
one is actually after Shaft goes to Africa. This one's after Shaft, though.
Yeah.
But not the first Shaft. This Shaft.
That Shaft. Shut your mouth.
Now, usually this is referred to as Shaft 2000, just to be clear.
Yeah.
And this has been more currently referred to as Shaft 2019, but still, point being.
Imagine someone in the meeting room or the boardroom or whatever pitching like a sequel to the 2001, and it's like, let's just call it Shaft.
Well, that's what this is. And this is a brilliant fucking movie.
I've heard good
I've
things
heard it.
about
Yeah,
it.
I've heard it was really good.
I know
It
Rotten
is
Tomatoes shat on it.
everything that you would hope for out of one of these movies. Like when we sit here and powwow about what they should and could do with some of these legacy franchises, this is it. Right? This is your Top Gun Maverick. This is your Ghostbusters Afterlife. Insert whatever
Cobra
here.
Kai.
Cobra Kai, exactly. Because you have Samuel coming back playing his version of... I mean, they even make the joke that they are actually father and son, but he wouldn't accept that fact. And you can buy that.
Yeah.
Because he's fucking Shaft. He's like, I'm not going to admit I got a
He's a
kid.
bad
Shut
mother.
your mouth.
And then now he's got a son, Shaft the Third, John Shaft the Third. Only he is the polar opposite of Daddy and Grandpa. He's woke.
Oh,
Oh.
for real?
He's a nerd. He works for the FBI.
Oh god.
Oh, no.
And yeah, and then so basically though, but what happens is it kind of kicks it off without to get too far into it. This chick here, what's her name? Shit, can't remember what her name is, but anyway, she plays younger Shaft's mother, and it starts off with a flashback to 1989, and these two are in a car, and they get shot up and nearly killed. And you come to find out they got a baby in the backseat. So the wife's like, or the mother's like, I can't stay with you, Shaft, and have this lifestyle. So then we come to find out that all these years, Shaft has been trying to track down this major drug dealer. So like, yeah, it kind of all wraps around. And I don't want to give too much more than that away, right? Because then at the same time, then it jumps ahead and then it starts from young Shaft's point of view. And they do a really good job of just balancing the whole thing out. And then in the third act, of course, we bring in Grandpa Shaft and stuff like that. And I don't want to give too much away because it was a lot of fucking fun.
And that is like, he's the original Shaft, right?
Yeah.
The grandpa? Yeah, he's the original guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I've always
I
heard
like the
it
other
was
Shaft.
really good.
The other Shaft, yes.
Yeah, the other Shaft. I've always heard that one was really, really good. So
yeah, it was a lot better. Considering how hyped up it was to me, I was kind of impressed by how much I laughed and enjoyed myself watching it and had a good time. And considering when it came out, it's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Because like there's even this ongoing joke where he keeps correcting Shaft. Like he's like, you can't say that shit now. And instead of just arguing with him, Shaft will just move on. Like he's like, whatever, fuck you. You know, like he's like, we gotta make a fucking man out of you. You know, like,
oh, I gotta see this one now. I do gotta see this because I never went into that one because I didn't much care for the 2001 Shaft. I mean, not that it was a bad movie.
It actually aged better than I expected it to.
Yeah,
Greg,
so
I'll tell you that.
I'll have to check that one out.
And it's nice to kind of cool to see in retrospect. You know, like Jeffrey and Christian Bale and all that kind of stuff, kind of in their young kind of roles. Because this is in between. I think this is after he did. Oh no, I think it would even be before. Was it before or after he did American Psycho? I think it was after. So it would have been right after he did American Psycho, but obviously a couple years until he would be Batman.
Yeah.
So, he's still that, younger kind of Christian Bale. And yeah, and of course this is Samuel Jackson at his prime.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, and he is just waxing ass through the whole fucking
before they nerfed him in the MCU.
Yeah. But both movies came out in the same year, Shaft and American Psycho.
Did they? I wasn't sure. I thought American Psycho came a little bit earlier. I thought that was like 99 because that came out in 2000, I thought. But
no, I just looked it up 2000.
I trust you.
2000.
Cool.
All right. So there you go. That was the year of Christian Bale, evidently.
Yeah, that what made him get the role of Batman, probably.
Well, he was a child actor up to that point, too.
Yeah.
He was a Spielberg prodigy and all that stuff, or whatever you want to call it.
I remember him in Newsies.
Well, he did that, what is it, Empire of the Sun or whatever it was?
Yeah, he did Empire of the Sun, yep.
Yeah, Spielberg.
Bart, no, people loved Shaft 2019.
The critics hated it because it wasn't woke enough for them.
Yeah, I remember the critics that hated it.
It's kind of an anti-woke movie in a lot of ways.
What? Yeah.
That's what I heard.
I mean, and it's still diverse with it also being just kind of like, unapologetically fun.
Yeah, woke critics don't give a fuck about diverse, like, actually.
Yeah.
They just,
Critics just aren't what they used to be. We don't have any good I about said Siegfried and Roy when I meant Siskel and Ebert. My bad. But yeah, we don't have good critics like Siskel and Ebert anymore, where they actually critique the films and talk about them. Now they're just paid to say this movie's good or this movie's bad. But yeah, I have to go back. I can
officially say though that Shaft is a very underrated franchise at this point. There's 4 very good movies, pretty much in one movie,
and a subpar TV series.
So there's only
the TV series I haven't really got into. What I saw of it was okay, but they tame him down so much that it's kind of like one step away from being Shaft, the Saturday morning cartoon almost. It just feels like a typical like crime drama series from the 70s.
So there's 5 Shaft movies.
5 technically 5 movies, and then they had I think it's 7 television movies.
Got it.
Well, they're basically just like overbloated series is what it was. They were trying desperately to get a series because they had this thing, I can't remember what it was called, but they had like rotating franchises they would show on, I can't remember if it was ABC or CBS, whatever it was, of these shows or movies that they were going to try and spin off as shows. And the only one that successfully spun off of that whole thing wasn't Shaft, believe it or not, but the $6 Million Man. So
go figure.
Yeah, go figure, right? Like everybody probably figured it was going to be Shaft, and yeah, because I think they ended up spending some money to get the rights and stuff too at the time, and the show ended up getting the actual original director and stuff involved from the first 2 movies, and somebody else. That's where I was saying last time when we were talking about it, where the director had left the 3rd film, so he wasn't involved in that one. He went to work on the series, so to him the 3rd film was not his. So really, I mean, I don't know if that guy had anything to do with these 2 movies. I really would have to look. I don't know if he's even still alive by that point, but the name escapes me of the director and co-writer or whatever. But like, I didn't even know until I totally spaced it out that like, yeah, even Shaft was white in the original book too. So he was the first race swap.
Interesting. That's cool. I definitely need to get into seeing him. I want to see I got to get the first one again, or watch the first one again, and then I want to see the new ones, especially 2019, because I've always heard really great things about the 2019 one.
Yeah, get the 4K, too.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for reminding me about that. You can't get it in the U.S.
I noticed the little thing on the bottom of your 4K.
You could. But...
Is it price high?
I think we should just say fuck Best Buy in general. So fuck Best Buy. Fuck Best Buy, because Best Buy got it exclusive and now it's out of print in the US.
Fucking Best Buy.
But it's a 2K up convert anyway, so.
You know what? I'm going to say it. Fuck Best Buy for that.
There you go, man. Finally.
Yeah, you can't get it anymore. And so unless you find it in store, you're screwed. You can find it used, maybe, get lucky. If you see that fucker used, grab it.
I'll be honest, okay? I'll be honest about Best Buy.
A minute ago, he was saying fuck Best Buy. Now, if he finds it in his Best Buy, he's going to
look what I found in my Best Buy. They had 6 copies.
Dude, I don't think it's going to come back. I really don't. Unless I jinx it somehow, but fuck. Well, you'd kill my ass if I told you that Shaft, like the latest one, came back.
Look, dude, if you actually, well, not just come back, but like, let's say they just happen to have like 2 or 3 copies left at your Best Buy specifically. If you didn't buy a copy for this man over here, I'd have to kick your ass.
Exactly.
for Gray.
Yeah, I mean, I'd even
Yeah.
pay you for it. That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
like, but like that's like out of pure principle because like right now they're out of print online, but that doesn't mean you can't find them in the store still. So it's probably whatever they put out there in the world is out there basically, and that's it. Otherwise, you got to import it, and this cost me almost I think it was like $40 to import this.
Well, that's actually.
I mean, it's region free, so whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the same thing. But
yeah. But that is cool. That is cool. I definitely got to get into watching them again, and I'm digging seeing I know I don't have a lot of channel members right now, but I'm digging seeing the little emojis. I like that.
and it's fun to get to see Samuel Jackson not be a cuck for once.
Exactly. That's what I said when they nerf him in the MCU. It's you see Samuel L. Jackson get his eye scratched out by a cat, and you're like, "What the fuck they do to you, man?" But anyways, yes, it was. I would like to see that, and
I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, even do yourself a favor if you can catch the 2001 on sale, because I've seen it pop. Like that's what I did. Is I waited. I had it in my thing, and then when it bopped down to like $9.99, I got it because I think it's normally $14.99. So yeah, just keep an eye on it. When it bops down to like $9.99, grab it.
Well, even at $14.99, that's not bad.
Not bad, but it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Might as well wait. I've seen it bop around enough. That's why I waited.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it happens.
Because I just never wanted it before. I've just always seen it pop up in the. But I'll check the what deals we have coming out. You know, every day, like a couple times a day. So yeah,
I'll keep an eye on.
Just like I'm looking at the out of print shit right now on Shout Factory, and it's cost me some money. Because I took a risk. Because Full Moon High and
Full Moon High. I forgot about
Carbon
that.
Copy are going out of print. And those are two that I highly doubt will get 4Ks.
Is that a Carbon Copy? Is that the one with Denzel Washington?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that one's actually going for quite a high price already, like $40. But I got lucky and found a decently priced one, so hopefully it's not too rough shape. But yeah, luckily there's still a couple of Full Moon Highs left on Amazon right now, but only a couple. I'm thinking once they're gone, they're gone. And again, I stress those are two movies I highly doubt will get a 4K release. Yeah, I'd be surprised. Especially Carbon Copy. There's no fucking way.
There's no way. No, not with that one.
No, that was probably the last time that movie's ever getting released. But you know what's cool is Manhunter's out of print now.
Yeah.
So my fingers are crossed we're going to get a 4K of that because I've heard rumors. I think I mentioned that before.
That'd be nice.
I've heard rumors of Manhunter.
Like Red Dragon 4K. Hopefully we'll get a Manhunter 4K.
I've been hearing some rumors about it, so it'd be nice, yeah.
Like I said, I know most people prefer Manhunter to Red Dragon, so yeah.
Yeah. And Heavy Traffic is going on a fucking release too. Do I have that one? I think I do.
I would hope Night of the Demons gets a 4K to release too, but I don't know if I would hold my breath on that. I mean, the Shout Scream Factory one is really great. I got that one, Stephen Luther's, but I don't know. I don't know if there's enough demand for a 4K on that one.
On which one?
Night of the Demons.
You might.
It's with Leanna Quigley. It's kind of like
I know the movie.
Yeah.
You might. They might. That one might.
I mean, it's a good one. I would definitely buy it if they did, but if not, I'm pretty cool with the one I got. And speaking of
what they mastered it in,
I think it's a 2K scan.
Oh, then yeah, probably not.
I don't know.
But that doesn't always necessarily mean shit.
Yeah, the Blu-ray's over there, so I can't. If I
oh, good, I do have Heavy Traffic because that's another one I doubt would get a 4K release. So yeah.
Also, speaking of which, that reminds me, Runner, check out Night of the Creeps. It was written by Shane Black and Fred Decker. Did Fred Decker direct that one? Yeah, Fred Decker directed that one from Monster Squad. Yeah, Night of the Creeps with Tom Atkins. There's a nod to Monster Squad in that movie because that was he did that before Monster Squad, and there's a scene where like in the bathroom, Monster Squad is written on the bathroom stall wall. So he got confirmation of Monster Squad the day they were making that movie. They're filming that scene, I believe. So yeah, check out Night of the Creeps. It's a really good one.
Night of the Creeps.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you seen Slither?
No.
Well, it's similar to that, but Slither is similar to that movie because it's sort of like alien slugs come down and make people into zombie-like people. So, But it's a good one. It's a good Fred Dekker, Shane Black type movie. I don't know if Shane Black had anything to do with it, but I know Fred Dekker had something to do with it.
Damn, Shout's got some good ones going out of print. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, they do. Is it still that's going out of print sale they're having?
No, these are ones that are already out of print and not available anymore. I'm looking at now. Because sometimes that's a good idea to get an idea of things. Otherwise, I just hope Kino's going to release some of these because I don't see some of these titles getting... Oh, shit. And if you didn't get Pee-wee's Playhouse, too, that one's gone.
Oh, boy.
Oh, shit. I forgot. I did get the Walking Tall trilogy, too. Damn it.
Good night, Brian Barth. Have a good one. Yes, Thrill Me. Night of the Creeps. Great. Tom Atkins is freaking badass. I love that movie. But yeah, I guess that's where we'll end it. Oh yeah, it has Rusty 2 in it. I forgot about that. Yeah, from there. Oh yes, A Night of the Comet 4K would be awesome. That's a great movie. But is there anything you guys want to say?
Didn't that one just get released on Blu-ray?
Not
too long ago.
I got it on Shout. I think
was it Shout or was it MVD or whatever?
It was Shout. I got the Shout Night of the Comet.
Yeah, I think you're right now that I think about it.
Yeah, I think it wasn't too long ago, but I don't think I think it might be OOP itself right now. So not
Probably.
really sure.
I think that was yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, because I seen it because I spent like $20 on it, and I see it going for like $60-$70 somewhere. So I was thinking, oh, did that sell out? So I don't know. Yes, Atkins is king. Anything you guys want to say before we head out? And also, I put your guys' channels, both of them. Well, Midnight Edge After Dark and Runners. It's pinned at the top. Make sure you subscribe because these guys are awesome. Subscribe to Runner and Tom. So check them out.
I am not responsible for what I put on my channel.
I like your stuff, man. It's good.
I do too, but I'm not responsible for it.
And Megan.
So you got a problem, take it up with somebody else who cares.
Yeah, take it up with my boss.
Well, you could, but I'm kind of my own boss too at the same time. But yeah.
And if you guys want to consider joining channel membership, go ahead. I won't say no.
He won't stop you.
I won't stop you. I'm going to work on some stuff for them because I got to give some of the channel members some good stuff. But yeah, that's some great picks tonight. Dig the Chuckies, dig the Shaft movies. I need to check them out. Runner, I do feel sorry for you, but don't worry. You'll get something.
Shaft was on eBay. Jesus Christ, Netflix for a while.
The new one?
Yeah, I don't know if it still is or not.
I very rarely turn on my Netflix.
I was gonna say I don't know if you have Netflix or not, but yeah.
Yeah, I do. I very if it's not like Cobra Kai or Stranger Things, I honestly don't really turn it on. The kids watch the kids crap on it.
Well, because I remember because that was one of the movies that came out right at the edge of COVID at the beginning, and so it got pushed to it came out in theaters, but it got pushed to Netflix kind of early, if I remember right.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
Or actually, no, I remember what it was. Oh shit, never mind. It wasn't Netflix in the U.S. My bad. It leaked online because it was it wasn't released in theaters overseas. It was released straight to Netflix. That's right.
Oh.
So I think that hurt the movie's box office. That's what happened. That's right. That's what it was. Never mind. Anyway.
Yeah. And with that, I want to say thank you all for who was watching. Thank you everybody in the chat. Tyrell72, Stephen Luther, Tim Hayes, Deleted Scenes, The Celtic Geek, Corley and Rogue, Basket of Puppies, Heather Preston, who was here earlier, Random Brad, Brian Barth, if I didn't say your name, I think I said your name. If I'm missing anybody, I do apologize. Hey, look, Midnight's Edge After Dark was in the chat. I can't believe that.
That dirty bastard owes me money.
Yeah, Victor Fontaine.
Yeah,
I always thought he was a pretty good guy. Classic
Victor
Cannabis.
Fontaine?
Midnight's Edge After Dark. Victor Fontaine's a good guy too. I love that name, Classic Cannabis. Thank you guys. And Cosmic Squirrel, hell to my channel members who was here tonight. Appreciate that. And with that, you know what it means. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
How you doing? Bitches leave.